What is going on, everybody? You already know I go by Philly Mike, and I'm here with two of my, comrades when it comes to Eagle talking. Take it over.
What's good, everybody? Y'all know who it is. Gate City Sports Channel. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's having a good evening. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let our next guest come on and introduce himself.
Hey, man, y'all already know what it is. Your boy Philly Fresh, a.k.a. the General here reporting for duty, man. And, let's get into this Eagles talk, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Before we do it, let's just say what's up. You got Philly Fan D in here. He's driving. Y2 Fly, what's good? And Stephen Joyce, what is going on, guys? Now, I'm going to let Gate City start it off with what this topic is going to be about.
All right, guys. All right. You guys have been hounding me about this, man. I mean, I've had about 6-7 comments in the past 2 weeks about this topic. The last one rolled in like literally not even 24 hours ago, guys. We're talking about backup quarterbacks. All right. Wasn't a topic that I was anticipating talking about, but look, one of those topics it's clearly on everybody's mind. So I just felt like it was a good time to bring the minds together and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on with this Eagles backup situation, because right now we ain't got anybody under contract other than Kyle Luiletti, who was on the practice squad, which I think he might technically still be under contract. I'm not sure, but I think he's still technically under contract. But we're going to talk about that today, guys. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about free agency. We're going to talk about maybe re-signing guys. Nate Sudfeld. You got McCown still out there. If he's going to play, who knows? So I see already some comments rolling about Taysom Hill. So that's what we're talking about, gentlemen. So I guess I'll kick it off by answering I'll start off with the first question. Now I'll kick it off to Philly Fresh first. Philly Fresh.
Yep.
What do you think about Josh McCown returning? Is he coming back for another season?
I don't know. I feel as though he might be a little bit too old. I feel as though I think if he do return, we can put him in the office somewhere. If y'all seen All or Nothing with the Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz really likes his, and he puts kind of like he puts a lot of things on what Carson Wentz does. So I think that we can keep him in the organization. But my top two is going to have to be Joe Flacco or Case Keenum as my backup.
Flacco.
He's a backup, though.
Yeah.
And a Super Bowl champion. You know what I mean? I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had put a video out probably about 3 weeks ago about this, and everybody was saying, like, they don't want Flacco, but we're not talking about a guy that's going to start. We're not talking about a guy that's going to lead your team. We're talking about a guy that, if Carson Wentz gets nicked up for a game or two, that can come and win a couple games. And I feel as though that he can do that.
That's true.
All right, I'm going to do a couple shout-outs, guys, and I'm going to get to Philly Mike on this. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. So we go, Para, what's going on, huh? Don't crash. Philly Fan D, same thing, bro. What's going on, man? Don't be crashing now. Y'all be safe driving as you're watching. Y2 Fly, what's good, buddy? Stephen Joyce, what's going on, man? Big Moose, we love doing these, man. We always talk together, us three, man. We always like doing these type of things. Chris, what's good, man? Coming from the down under, man. How you doing? Dave Dust, how you doing, buddy? S4L420, Tyson Hill. Yeah, we'll see. All right, Philly Mike, what you think, man?
I mean, there's a lot of guys who are serviceable. Now, when you're talking about a backup quarterback, you got to look at the backup money they're going to get. What did Josh McCown make? How much did we pay him? I don't even remember now, but I know it wasn't a lot. The reason we had to let go of Nick Foles is because you can't have a expensive backup on your team, and it was the right thing to do for Carson Wentz. Now, you want to get a guy who's in there serviceable. You got the Mariota floating around. You got Case Keenum floating around. You had Joe Flacco floating around. And these guys, all these guys, you would not want to go into the season planning to play 16 games with. Of course not. But the object is to keep your starter healthy and only have this guy come in and be serviceable if needed to relieve some, just to get something done for a game or two. So with that being said, you gotta watch money wise, and it gotta be along the lines of I'm more of a Case Keenum or a Marcus Mariota, because again, we see Marcus Mariota at his best. He's pretty good, but the thing is, he has an injury problem. He can't do it for the long term. So if he's only on the bench to relieve something, that's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm. So Josh McCown's cap number, his cap number is just under 2.5.
I thought it was 2 million. I was gonna say 2 million. Now again, you're not gonna get a guy who could start for 2 million. So you got to keep that on thing in mind too. I mean, even Case Keenum, I mean, what does he make? What was he making as the Redskins starter? Probably like in the teens or 20 mil around there,
He was I don't think he was brought in to be the starter, right, guys? I thought he was brought in as a camp body kind of competition guy, right? Originally.
Yeah, because I mean they drafted what's his name?
Thornton.
No, I'm talking about Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins.
Okay.
But I think, well, maybe they never anticipated Alex Smith coming back. I mean, judging from that little documentary thing he did, it looked like it was pretty bad. But let's see. Case Keenum, guys, was 3.5 million was his cap number
for this year.
So about a million more
for this year or last year.
Last year, he's a free agent. So, similar to Philly Mike, I would look to the Redskins, but I'm not as big on Case Keenum as I am on Colt McCoy. I think when Colt McCoy is healthier, I think he's the better quarterback. I think the obvious thing for me is I don't think that the backup quarterback position is as important for, if Carson Wentz goes down. I mean, I trust that Carson can make it through the season healthy. That's not the issue I have. I want a guy who can get in the film room and can contribute to what's going on there, can help Carson see the field. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like what Josh McCown was able to do with Carson Wentz. And by no means am I saying that Colt McCoy is that guy per se. I don't think he's to Josh McCown's level. But I do think you know what I'm saying, you need more of that presence than a guy, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. If we end up losing, if Carson goes down, like, I don't think it's going to matter who you got. Like, it's going to be a hard uphill battle to make it to the playoffs and even go past the divisional round if you lose Carson. But I do think you need somebody in the locker room and in that film room who can help. Does that make sense, guys? Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree. No, I totally agree with you. That's why I said Joe Flacco. It wasn't for his performance, especially on the field, meaning, but I do feel as though he can bring that locker presence, get in Carson Wentz's ear. He's a Super Bowl champion. And at the same time, he's seen every defense. You know what I mean? Like with these veteran guys, even though they might have made mistakes, you got to learn from your mistakes. So when you got mistakes, they can teach other guys like, oh, well, I did this wrong, but you're a better quarterback. We all know Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Flacco. But when you got a guy, why do you think Doug Peterson is a good quarterback? Because at the same time, he was backup for all them years, so he's seen all the mistakes that Brett Favre made. He's seen all the mistakes that whoever made, whoever he backed up for made, and he knows, all right, we can do this differently. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jalen Williams, that's an interesting pick, man. Jalen Williams said Matt Moore.
I mean, he came in and did what he needed to do with the Chiefs. He lost respectively to the Green Bay Packers, and he beat the Minnesota Vikings with that team around them. And that's kind of what we can, depending what we do in free agency, depending what we do in the draft, hopefully we can have a healthy Deshaun Jackson. So just let's say we grab Justin Jefferson in the first round. We get a whole year or a bulk of it from D-Jax. You got Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders and Boston Scott. You got enough playmakers around them to where it could resemble Kansas City's offense, and Matt Moore was serviceable in that. Like I said, you got to think, again, it's proven. Nick Foles came in, and he played the game that I went to in the divisional round against the Atlanta Falcons, and he played pedestrian. We got a win there at the last second by Jalen Mills not getting a pass interference call, tripping over Julio Jones, being able to defend that pass. Yeah. Then after that game, Nick Foles was just as a D plus. He went on 2 great magical runs because the team rallied. Doug Peterson, catered to his RPO style, and that's what you need to do. As long as you have a coach, look what Mike Tomlin did with the Steelers a little bit with all them ugly quarterbacks. You just got to be able to find your backup quarterback. That if you could do that, and that's where Joe Flacco might come in pretty good. Joe Flacco can RPO, but I think someone like again Marcus Mariota, again, this guy, they all need redos. You look at Teddy Bridgewater. He was able to tear his knee, go to the Saints, somehow get a shot, and now he's probably going to be a starting quarterback for a team because he revamped his thing. And that's what some of these guys got to do, like a Case Keenum, a Colt McCoy, as you would say, a Joe Flacco, a Marcus Mariota. So
if you want to, I would say if you want a Nick Foles level arm talent, if you want the arm talent that a Nick Foles has, then you're looking at more stationary quarterbacks, guys like Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon has the arm talent, but he has the same shady track record that Foles had. That really up and down, never really lived up to what his arm talent was.
He was supposed to be good.
I like Mike Glennon because I'm an NC State guy. But with that said, I don't feel comfortable with Mike Glennon in terms, like, if you look at the coaching staff, the guys that we brought in guys who basically run a system to where you roll out the quarterback. If Wentz goes down, now you got to really change the script. If Mike Glennon or a Joe Flacco or any of those guys or your backup quarterback, you're going to have to go into a Nick Foles level, like to where you can't do the same things, like at all. You're definitely not rolling Mike Glennon. I think Flacco's got a little more athleticism than I probably just gave him credit for, but I still don't think he's that dynamic of an athlete like a Wentz or, you know what I mean? Those type of players. But if you're looking in that role outside of Glennon or outside of Flacco, do you guys have anyone else in terms of the arm talent you would put on that
list? Jason Wall said, real quick, a great free agent, a great veteran free agent on the market, Tom Brady. I love to have him as a backup.
Come on, man.
What about Dakota?
That's for the 18-wheeler, man.
We could go try to get us a Dak Prescott and see how that works out.
Yo, I saw this meme real quick. I gotta say it, and it showed Tony Romo because you know how he got that. He's just got that extended by CBS or whatever. He was like, dang, even Tony Romo signed his long-term contract before Dak Prescott. It's messed up. It was funny. The meme was funny.
Here's the thing. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It just seemed like this offense is more of a stationary quarterback offense. Now, I think Doug is trying to figure out more things with Carson Wentz because let's keep it real. I'm pretty sure you and also Philly Gates, I'm pretty sure both of y'all within, I want to say about 7 games of the season, we all was saying, why are you not rolling Carson Wentz out? He's in the best when he's outside the pocket. But he wants a pocket quarterback, kind of like how Nick Foles was in the Super Bowl, in the NFC Championship, and games after that, like the LA Rams games, not this past season, but the season before that, games like that. So we got to understand they're probably going to they're not going to try to get a quarterback that can run like a Teddy Bridgewater, like you brought up, or Marcus Mariota. They're probably going to try to get a stationary quarterback like Joe Flacco. I mean, I probably said Joe Flacco as much times as Philly Mike has says Marcus Mariota, but I feel as though Joe Flacco is a better presence in the. I ain't gonna say I don't know if he's a locker room guy, but being as though he's seeing so much more, I would rather Joe Flacco than Marcus Mariota.
So what do you guys think about Rich Scangrello in this equation? Because we did get clarity there that Rich Scangrello was brought in here to implement the rolling out of quarterbacks, building in rollouts to the playbook, because that's what he specializes in. And he's been brought in to work with Carson. Do you guys think that might factor in, or do you guys think like, nah, they're just going to go with veteran presence, best guy available, best locker room guy, and then they'll deal with that if that ever pops up, basically?
I think they really love the veteran guy. I think that's why they went with a guy like Josh McCown, an established arm throughout the league. But again, we tend to forget. It's hard to bring this back up because it's a while ago. Doug Peterson's year in 2007-2018 season, the first 13 games before Carson Wentz went down, he catered that offense to Wentz is scrambling, making something happen at the end, downfield presence. And again, he was throwing downfield to guys like Nelson Aguilar, who that year was catching balls down the field. He caught a nice one against Denver, a nice one against Arizona. He was throwing the ball to an old man, Torrey Smith, who was good in his prime, but not good at the tail end. Mm-hmm. But Doug Peterson was catering it to, again, Doug Peterson has been playing that, 3-step drop back, trying to force Carson to do that. That's where the plays were designed. So Carson doesn't drop back 3 and throw it right away. So everything gets discombobulated. These guys ain't holding the blocks long enough because it's not built for that. And Carson Wentz still has that mindset. At the end, you started seeing him say, you know what? If Doug's not going to call these plays and let me go scramble this way, then I'll get it out to Greg Ward Jr. on a time around. I'll get it out to this guy on a time around. And you saw him taking them checkdowns to Josh Perkins, to Miles Sanders. He started doing it at the end. But I don't want him to get away from letting Carson Wentz do Carson Wentz type things, because 2017 can happen again if we just, do what we need to do.
Jalen Williams, I think you and I are on the same wavelength here. We're looking into more of those veteran presence in the film room. He's throwing out like Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub is a good quarterback. He's an older dude, much older.
He's been in the league a minute.
He's up there with Phillip Rivers' age. I mean, he's up there.
He plays for the Falcons. I forgot until Matt Ryan went down and I saw Matt Schaub had to come in.
Yeah, old UVA quarterback too.
Let me ask y'all one quarterback that kind of shined in the last half of the season. Had a couple good playoff games. Ryan Tannehill. Would y'all take him as a backup?
Yeah, but I think he already auditioned to be another starter somewhere. He's gonna still be able to start somewhere.
But where?
New England.
I mean, there are teams that are gonna need a quarterback. I mean.
Yo, wait, real quick. Shout out to my boy Shake Milton for having a career high 39 points against the Clippers in a loss, 136-130. It was a close game. I was over there at free fall, couldn't watch this game. I had a kid's birthday party. 39 points, broke the record for the most consecutive threes ever in the NBA. Real quick, I know this ain't the Sixers, but shout out to my boy Shake Milton. If he can get in the starting lineup with Ben Simmons, we'd be going somewhere. But let's get back to
No, real quick on that. Hold on. I watched that whole game. Shake Milton was a monster in the first half. And I'm looking at it like, where the heck did this dude get this from? And like you said, shout out to him. 39 points, like you said. And he just was dominant. But once again, we lost on the road. But I feel as though it's things that you could take from a loss, things you could take from a win. And I know a lot of people don't say it was a good loss, but I feel as though this was a loss that you can look at and be like, okay, I understand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But back to Eagles talk.
Yeah.
So Jason Wall asked a question, guys. He said, are we letting Nick Jr., meaning Sudfeld, walk? I don't know if it's so much we're letting him walk, Jason, as much as it is he wants to walk away from the situation in Philadelphia. I don't think that he liked the way things kind of shook out last offseason with us bringing in Josh McCown. And he was supposed to have an opportunity at least.
Yeah, he was supposed to be that
number two. But yes, I think he's ready to move on personally.
But you can't be hurt about that because you was hurt. Sudfeld was hurt when we brought in Josh McCown. It's not like we brought in Josh McCown and Nate Sudfeld was healthy. We brought in Josh McCown for a reason because he got hurt. So he can't feel no type of way about that.
Well, unfortunately they leaked out that we have been speaking to Josh McCown for a while. So we've been wanting Josh McCown in the system for a while. So we were never really told on him, you know what I mean, behind the scenes.
But
it's just business. I get it. It's just business, but
that might have been a spurt on Clayton Thorazine. They probably seen after they drafted this dude with a 5th round pick that I'm so mad about that 5th round pick. But anyway, with a 5th round pick that they got Clayton Thorazine, and they seen that he wasn't that. So all right, we're gonna get another quarterback. I always felt as though before he got hurt, Nate Sudfeld was always the number 2. But once he got hurt, you had to bring in somebody. It was just you can't get around it. You know what I mean? You got to bring in somebody, and I felt as though they did the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sudfeld. I like the arm talent behind Sudfeld, but something tells me that something ain't right in the film room and in practice, or else the Eagles would have more confidence.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when it comes down to you're hoping that the guy who steps in only steps in for a little bit. And then you just want someone who can do something. Like Case Keenum does good stuff in the league at times. Can he do it for 16? No. Marcus Mariota did stuff at times. Can he do it for 16? No. So as long as you got a guy like that, I think it will get the job done. But I do believe we need to address this backup quarterback situation. I'm just like, hopefully it does not need to be addressed throughout the season. Like, we need to get somebody in here, but hopefully it doesn't matter who's in here, for the simple fact that, Carson Wentz stays healthy. You're looking at a very promising season. I'm telling you, this offseason, yes, Howie Roseman has messed up in the past, but my goodness, normally you either have a lot of draft picks and you're kind of broke. I mean, we got everything lining up. We need to do this right. You got a lot of money, but we do have a lot of areas. We got to touch the linebacker position up, whether it be free agency or the draft. I think you got to do both. You got the cornerback position because we got both our guys at free agent. Some people say let them both go. Some people say bring Mills back. Some people want to move them to safety and all this other stuff. I understand that. But the way the Eagles look like, I don't think the Eagles have any type of thinking Jalen Mills is going to be safety. It's easy for us to say, but I mean, I don't think they'll do that. I would like them to try it out. He was a safety in LSU. And like I said, can you pay Ronnie McClown? Are you going to pay him? How old is McClown?
I thought you called him McClown. I was say what?
McClown. No.
Like, man, you did it wrong.
Is it McCloud or McClode or
McCloud? McCloud.
I've heard it said, like I said, I've heard it said both ways. Phonetically, the way it's spelled out, it should be McClode, but I think that I've heard him enunciated as McCloud.
It's McCloud, like the cloud.
Yeah.
Right, let me ask.
Wait, Philly Fresh. Big Moose in the chat said, is that a Lord Brunson hat, Philly Fresh?
I was about to get to that too, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he got the LB on.
You already know he shipped that thing right to me, man. Shout out to LB. You already know y'all two guys and LB, man. He was one of the dudes and Philly 500 that reached out to me and try to teach me how to move this page, how to move like how I move. You know what I mean? And I appreciate all 4 of y'all guys, man. So hey, man, if y'all come out with something, man, if one of y'all two come out with something, I'm gonna support it too. That's just what I do, man.
We'll figure it out, man.
All right.
Question real fast. Jalen Williams, you got a good point here. So Jalen, he's talking about, you look at this year, we're middle of the pack with 40 million. We're 44 currently. And we did increase it by 10 million though, Jalen, by letting go of Nigel. So now we're at 20 million for the following season. But your point still stands, which is you can't be so narrow on one season. But I will say this: next year's salary cap is gonna get a lot bigger because Alshon's gonna be gone. He might make it this year. I'm not gonna make any predictions there, but I can promise you, Alshon and Deshaun's contracts, they'll be gone next year.
But not only that, you got to factor in the new CBA. The new CBA is going to expand the cap. So
every year it gets more. Every year grows.
Going to have a lot more money. But I want to ask y'all this real fast. Being in the draft, if y'all was a GM, we all know, everybody that's watching, we got 10 picks. What are you doing? Not saying every draft, but at them 10 picks, are you trying to move up? Or are you just going to stay stable and let somebody fall to you? Because we know what we need. We talked about this. We know what we need. And we seen what happened at this combine this last couple of days. So with the first pick, if things get shifty, because I'm going to tell y'all this right now, what's going to change the game, and I said this on our last live, is if the Redskins, I don't like calling them the Redskins. I feel as though that's people know how I feel about the Redskins. I feel as though it's just not a good name. But anyway, So if the Washington football team gets Tua, I feel as though that's going to be a ripple effect on the whole draft. So are you going to try to push up to get Ruggs or another receiver? Because he's not going to be there at 21. Or are you going to sit tight?
Me personally, I'll start. I'll bite the bullet first because I know this is a big question here. Me personally, it depends what you mean by move up and how far up. I'm not sacrificing this draft for one player. As talented as I think that player is, it's too deep. This draft is way too deep for that. And I'll be honest with you, I do think there is a real possibility that the Redskins, the Lions, there's a few teams that could really shift this draft up. They could really shake it up by doing something unexpected, like taking a quarterback. Because there's a lot of teams that do have some uncertain quarterback situations up there that where, look, I love Matthew Stafford, but if I'm a Lions fan, the dude ain't going to be around forever. And how many times, well, we are talking about the Lions, but how many times are you going to legitimately have a top 3 pick? I could see that ripple effect happening. Now, if you're looking at a guy like Henry Ruggs and you only got to jump 2-3 picks to go get him, I think you do it because that's not going to cost you that much. Like if you got to give up like a 3rd and a 4th, no big deal. If you can give up a 2nd rounder in next year's draft, I think you still make that move. But if you got to give up a 1st, a 2nd, possibly a 3rd or a 4th this draft, no way. I wouldn't do it personally. I just think there's so much talent in this draft. I think it'd be a mistake, man. I do. And it's not because the player's a mistake. I just think we have so many holes to fill.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful.
2 things that I would do. Like I said, I like what Chris Corrinan said. There's so many no-brainers at wide receiver that you don't need to be fixated on one guy. I agree in the fact that there's so many wide receivers that could be talented in this league. I'm talking that people who are probably going to go in the 3rd round or the 2nd round, like the Denzel Mims, a lot of these guys, so talented. I think you can get a receiver in the 3rd and 4th round who, if by the end of the year, is maybe starting on a team, any team. You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot of good receivers. But receiver is weird too. Like, remember Laquan Treadwell? Laquan Treadwell came out in the 1st round for Minnesota. I thought he was going to be a dog. And he was like, yeah. And now he's a free agent, and they're probably not going to bring him back. But let me just say this one thing. There's really 2 guys. I mean, I love what Justin Jefferson did. I think he's a good fit for the Eagles. But again, you got the guys like Chenault. People love him, but like Gate City was saying, he looks at him as more of a Anquan Bolden, type receiver who's going to get you the possession catches, break tackles, and do that stuff. I mean, that's what we use. That's why we run 12 personnel so much. We have Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz on the field almost all the time. And these are the guys who are they're not going to get yak like Chenault will. They're not going to get yak, but they're going to get you. They're going to be the guys to move the chains. We got so many chain movers. 10 yards here from Zach Ertz, 10 yards here from Dallas Goedert. We don't got nobody who's going to say this.
100%.
Well, here you go. There's a deep one for you. And that's where Henry Ruggs would come in, because at the end of the day, that safety that, listen, if you watch the Eagles, which all you guys do, I'm not saying, but every team's, their safeties are in the box. If you got Deshaun Jackson on the field, if you have a Henry Ruggs on the field, you cannot bring the safety in the box. Ask Tyreek Hill. Nobody brings a safety in the box when they're playing the Chiefs. They either double team Kelsey or they double team Hill. I mean, the Titans try to double team both of them, and that's why you got Patrick Mahomes just walking into the touchdown for a 20-yard run easily.
Yeah, it's crazy that you said that, Philly, right? Because I made a video about a month ago, and it was the comparison on Carson Wentz and Patrick Mahomes. And basically what I was saying is Carson Wentz be fighting for his life in that pocket. Mahomes doesn't have that problem because he has so many players that can stretch the field. And one of the reasons that he can get out the pocket, like you said, and go for 10 and 20 yards and just feel comfortable with that is because all the defenders is down the field. But when you have like a lot of the fumbles and a lot of the sacks that Carson Wentz took is because dudes is just stacking the box. It's 9 in the box. We don't believe in none of your receivers. So what are we going to do is we're going to pack the box and we're going to make sure that there's no way that you can make a there's no way that you can get out this box. You can't run, so we're going to attack you. Carson Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have that problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I was basically saying, like, the level of competitors is not that far between him and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I felt as though if Patrick Mahomes had this roster, I don't think he could have did what Carson Wentz did. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I agree.
and look,
I'll say this about Ruggs. I think Ruggs is one of those. I think there's about 3 or 4 really dynamic guys. When you turn the film on, they're dynamic football players at the outside receiving position. With that said, I haven't yet. I mean, I've been looking through film, guys, and I haven't watched every game of Ruggs yet. But I will say this. I have concerns about him making contested catches and going up and elevating for the football.
That's fair.
I do have concerns there about Henry Ruggs. I don't think you touch him before 15. I think that's overvalue on him. I think it's overvaluing him. Yeah. I will say this, though. He's a dude that runs a 4.28 40. You put him on pads, he's still probably running 4.33. That's hard to find that kind of speed.
And when you have
it's hard to find that kind of speed.
Yeah.
I mean, be truthful.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I feel as though if you're going to move up, you got to get CeeDee Lamb. And I know he's the first receiver off the board. I understand it. I know people in my comments going to be like, well, our comments going to be like, whoa, you're tripping. No, if you're going to move up, you have to get CeeDee Lamb, because we seen in the combine, we seen at the games, we seen all the breakdown from tape. He is the best receiver, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't feel as though now, if you just moving up 1 spot, 2 spots, or you try to get a spot from Denver, I think they 15. 4 spots ahead of us. You said 6?
Denver's 15, so it'd be 6.
Okay. All right. If you giving up a 3rd round, just a 3rd round or a 4th round, all right, cool. But you can't give up no 1st round next year or none of that for this dude. I don't think he's that electric, because I still like Justin Jefferson.
Quick question for you guys. Who goes first, CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy?
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
All right.
I mean,
I just think when you watch CeeDee Lamb, it's Jerry Jeudy is probably the better skilled player in terms of, like, knows every route, gets in and out of his breaks correctly. Like, he does all those things perfectly. The thing is that there's some things you can't coach. It's just pure athleticism. And the way that CeeDee Lamb goes up in the air and tackles a football, can't coach that, man.
He reminds me of Hopkins, bro. Hopkins. D-Hop.
But he bit. It's crazy because he's bigger than D-Hop. And what we seen like I said before, what we seen at the combine, it's just like a explanation point on what we seen during the year. Like, we as us, I'm talking about like us, we really break down things. But a lot of fans, they don't understand. They just look at the combine and like, oh, this dude is fast. This dude just catches a ball. But no, you got to understand. You got to really break down tape on dudes. And when you break down tape on CeeDee Lamb, he is the best wide receiver in this draft. Like, it's really no comparison. I like Jeudy, but there's no comparison to CeeDee Lamb in this draft at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I honestly think CeeDee Lamb's gone in the top 10. I do. I think somebody
Raiders are 9, right?
In the top 10.
The Raiders' first pick is 9.
Nah, and the Raiders, I thought they were like 12. Yeah,
12.
I think there's a really good possibility Arizona picks him up. I mean, he might slip out of that top 10, but I wouldn't count it out. I wouldn't count out that he gets selected in the top 10. I really think it's going to depend about the run on quarterback.
A lot of offensive linemen boosted their stock too, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, a lot of offensive linemen, and you know how it is in this league. You gotta have offensive linemen, and with Frank Wright, he loves his offensive linemen. We see that. So I don't know, man.
Real quick, we got 45 people in the chat. What I'm gonna ask you guys to do is, not everybody's commenting, but you don't gotta comment too much. But everybody write their pick what the Eagles, who would they pick in the first round? You don't got to say the trading up scenarios, just right in the thing. Try to keep it realistic. Like, we can't say like Chase Young, like most likely we're not getting up there, but everybody write their pick in the chat. Let me know what you think. Who should the Eagles target with their first pick? Let's hear your guys' input. We got the first one. We got Darnell Roberts with Justin Jefferson. Big Moose, Ruggs, move up to 11. Kevin Corrin said Henry Ruggs. Let's just knock these out real quick. We got another Jefferson from Chris Corris. Stephen Joyce Jefferson after his 40. Oh God TV. OGOD TV. Judy. Dang, here they come. Jason Massey, Ruggs, semi-realistic pick. Ricky Del Alonzo, Ruggs. Sorry if I'm getting your names wrong. Dominique Burden should go after Ruggs. I wanted Chenault, but Claypool was a must. The Bull Philly, remember we took JJ instead of Metcalf. Do we let history repeat itself? Eddie
Stop reminding me of that. Everybody in the comments, stop reminding me.
Eddie Ortiz fourth, Justin Jefferson. If we can't get Ruggs, OGTV, Judy is the best. Bird Games 114, Diggs, cornerback, but for wide receiver, Jefferson. All right, cool. So we're all stuck. We're all like, go get Ruggs or go up and try to get a Judy or a Lamb or, I think Jefferson will be there at 21. Now, again, someone said in a chat earlier about Buffalo being at 22. And if Buffalo wants a receiver, why don't maybe they just say, you know what, let's try to stick it to the Philadelphia Eagles, move up only from 22 to 20 to 22 to 19 and try to get the guy. Do you think that's a possibility? Buffalo doing us dirty? How we did the Cowboys for Dallas Goedert? Because the Cowboys were going to draft that tight end Dallas Goedert until he moved up and stole him in the second round the other year.
I think there are two receivers in this draft who are very good football players that just had really, really crappy quarterback play. And I think they're being slept on. One of them isn't being slept on. One of them just came to the forefront because of his 40 time. The other one's being slept on because he didn't run as fast as people wanted him to, but they're not taking the full picture into consideration. The first one is Jalen Reagor. He ran a 4.47. I don't care what he ran in the 40. You can turn on the tape and the dude's out running covered. That's all that matters to me is when you put the film on, what happens when this man is running against coverage? He's out running. The kid jumped a 42-inch vertical and he's 5'11". You can't coach that. That's something you can't coach. The dude jumped like an 11-foot 6-inch broad. Like, come on, man. That's athleticism you don't find every day. He's a dude that I would look into. And then the other guy, listen, Chase Claypool. What did he run? Like a 4.38?
4.42.
4.42. 4.42 40. Dude's like what, 6'4", almost 230 pounds?
Yeah, yo, this dude is 6'4", 229 pounds. Listen, they said that the only person to be 6'4" or bigger and run under 4.5 or under 4 something was the one and only Megatron. Now, look, I'm not trying to say he's going to be Megatron. I'm not going to say that. But the dude is 6'4". If he's Alshon Jeffrey, but runs like Jefferson. Yeah. I mean, Justin Jefferson, just think about it. Justin Jefferson ran a 4.43.
4.44, didn't he? 4.43, right? Something like that, yeah. And he's another big dude, another big guy that can play he can play the Y, he can play the Z. Like,
yo, Claypool.
There's talent here, man. I mean, Justin Jefferson. I would take Claypool. I would take Reek. I mean, there's so many guys in this draft that are like, as long as you're paying attention to the film and you don't get too caught up in like, oh, the dude's interview wasn't that great. Man, we don't need saints. We need football players.
Correct.
Exactly. You still got, I mean, it's a couple names that we haven't named yet. Chenault, Rager. I think I did name Rager. The guy with the two names, Gandy Golden. I feel as though he's a sleeper. I feel as though he might drop to the second round. If he drops to the second round, you got to grab him, but I don't think he's going to be there at what we at 53?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be there at 53.
Yo.
Bro, you jump a 42-inch vertical, man. I mean, come on, bro. Like,
who you talking about?
Man, Jalen Rieger jumped a 42-inch vertical, dude. 42 inches.
This is
My
probably,
man's only 5'11" getting up that high.
I can't go back 100 years, y'all, but this is probably the most talent I've seen at the wide receiver position.
It's
ever.
loaded.
It's
loaded.
really, you can really grab two efficient wide receivers at this position, and that kind of scares me because I feel as though Howie will probably be like, "Oh, well, I can miss on him. I get a gem." No, Howie, you don't have to get a gem. You have to find somebody in the first round, man. You have to find one of these elite talents, these dudes, either speed or one of these dudes that can run routes, catch the ball, and run after catch. We don't have no yak players.
No.
Just think about it. What yak players do we have?
Our running backs. Running back.
For those in the comments that don't understand what yak is yard after the catch. YAC. We don't have no yak players.
Ball protection, man.
I love me some Zach Ertz. He ain't no yak player.
No, he's not. Now Zach Ertz is a little bit. He's built a little differently. But I would say that I will say that what's his name? Goddard. Dallas Goddard's a yak guy, but he's got to get better with the ball, man. He turns the ball over too much. Trying to fight hard.
But that could be fixed for a young guy. But yo, someone said about Road Philly Take RB. Appreciate you coming through. Dope new Sixer content creator, Big Dog. If you like the Sixers, go check out my boy Philly Take with RB. He spits some fire. Sixers post game. He's gonna do Eagle stuff when he gets there too. But check him out. Really good dude. But yeah,
I sub back, man. I subbed him up though. I've been watching his videos.
Dominique Burden said Peoples Jones got a crazy vert. Donovan Peoples-Jones
does
be a guy too.
Yeah, he does.
Look, I honestly think, remember all these names, because honestly, there's 10 really good guys, but I'm telling you, there's about 20 guys. There's about no legit 15 to 20-ish guys that could really do something. And there's going to be 2 or 3 guys that go in the 4th round, maybe in the 5th round, maybe more around the 4th round. There's going to be guys that go in the 4th round that we're going to be like, there it is. Like, watch, it's going to happen. We just got to hopefully get one, because I'm okay with double dipping. But some people talked about going 1st and 2nd receivers. I don't think the Eagles would do that, because there is some desperate needs that we need for other things. Corner, linebacker, just other things.
Like a 1st and 3rd or a 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, 1st and 3rd or 1st and 4th. Yeah, and so, but because it's so deep, you can get your guy in the beginning, and you can get a Claypool in the 3rd or 4th. You can get a Denzel Mims, maybe. I think he argued to move up. He runs a 4.38, and he's big. He's like 6'2".
Yeah, but would you take Denzel? Would you take him before the 3rd round, though?
I probably take him in the 3rd round.
Exactly. I would start in the 3rd round.
I do want to say this too. I love the 42, but at the end of the day, the 40-yard dash doesn't mean you're a good receiver. You still got to be able to catch the ball. You still got to run routes. You still got to just be better than the person in front of you too. It's still football. I mean, it's not track. Speed does help, but you need to run routes. You need to do a lot of things. That's where CeeDee Lamb, he ran a 4.5, but he's going to do work.
You know what's crazy? You know how deep this wide receiver position is. You, Philly Mike, and Gate City, right? We just named about 12 people, and we still haven't named Michael Pittman Jr.
Mm-hmm.
That's how deep this wide receiver draft is. Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be a starter in the NFL.
Yeah,
like hands down.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. So I do understand, like, a lot of people we gotta have things fall to us, but I still think that we can go up and get the guy that we want and still get a dude in the 3rd or the 4th round, because this wide receiver class is deep. But you still have to go get your guy that you want in the 1st round. If you like somebody, if you like a KJ Hamler, if you like a Ruggs, or if you like a CeeDee Lamb, go up and get him. Because with the rest of your picks, even if you give up 2 picks, with the rest of your picks, you can still get another wide receiver that's probably not as developed as your first receiver that you drafted, but it's just deep, man. This wide receiver room, this wide receiver draft is deep.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys we haven't even talked, like Van Jefferson out of Florida. I think he's one of those under the radar guys. I mean, there's a lot of them in this draft. I mean, you got like Van Jefferson,
Tyler Johnson, Johnson, Dakota.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guys in this draft.
Real quick, guy in here, this is probably his first time watching the live Philly take with RB. He said real quick, if you guys can just, I know you guys probably already talked about it, maybe not in this live, but before, and I'm going to let Gate City do it because he does it quick and efficient. Give your take on what you think is going to happen with Alshon Jeffrey.
Oh, Jesus.
A quick version of it.
Gut instinct is he won't be on the football team. It's not personal. It's business. Big contract, disruption in the locker room. Doesn't matter if you said the things that are being reported or not. Image is everything.
Correct.
The image is you said it. I think they're going to part ways.
I think so too.
I think not only are they going to part ways, but you have to part ways. You cannot have this in your locker room. You cannot have a guy that's constantly being the subject of your franchise quarterback, the leader of your team, talking about him. You can't have this guy in his locker room. We talked about this the last time that we all went live. You can't have this dude in the locker room, man. You have to find a way to get rid of him. I said it before. I like Alshon Jeffrey, but if you're going to, if it's Alshon Jeffrey or if it's Carson Wentz, you gotta go.
Real quick, Jalen Williams said, remember, we run a super modified version of the West Coast offense. We need an X receiver that can move the chains and a threat when he touches the ball. Our offense is supposed to revolve around that guy. And that's the deal. That we do want that guy who can take a slant to the house. That is what kind of West Coast is. You want a guy who can get a lot of yards after the catch in the West Coast offense. But again,
are we that team anymore, though? I would counterback Jalen Williams. Are we that team anymore? I didn't see a lot of 11-man being run. I saw 12-man.
That's because a lot of our receivers was hurt, though.
Yeah, but we didn't have
we even had 13-man. You got to remember, we had 3 tight ends and 1 running back. That's 13-man personnel. So we're not that team because of injuries, because of the talent that we had to put out there. We had to put out Zach Ertz, Goddard, Perkins, and Malcolm Jenkins, or we had to put out Dallas Goedert. I think it's a 24. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gate City. I think it's a 24-man with the 2 running backs and 2 tight ends. You had Goddard, you had Zach Ertz, you had either Scott or Miles Sanders and Jordan. So you had to put your best talent out there. So if we get the talent, we can go back to being that West Coast team. You know what I mean?
You're 22-man personnel, 2 backs, 2 backs, 2 tight ends, 1 receiver. I would say, given the talent that's on the football team, listen, I kept calling for it all last season. We need to be in more 2-back sets. They did start using it more in the season, but it was kind of a little too late. I mean, too little too late, to be honest, what ended up happening. My fear is you look at a guy like Alshon Jeffrey, and I made a video, and I warned everybody, he's better than people think. It's not a talent thing with Alshon Jeffrey. And Big Moose, I hear you, brother, but I'm telling you, Doug Peterson also said that certain coaches were going to be on this football team too. I don't believe a word I hear from them publicly. I think it's all smoke and mirrors, man.
You can't, because you got 1 minute, you got 1 hour Doug Peterson saying that Mike Rowe is cool where he at, and then the next hour, Mike Rowe is fired. So you can't believe anything that's coming out of their mouth publicly. But this is really about this draft, man. We have to find a way. Oh man, that's supposed to be Andre Dillard.
No, I think ain't that the runner back out of
Boston College. Or no. AJ Dillon, is he Boston College or Pitt? He's one of the two. Man, I'll tell y'all. I know he's an ACC guy. Yeah, Boston College.
That's crazy. We
That's
haven't
what I
covered,
thought.
we haven't
So what do you
covered
think?
running backs at all.
If he's healthy, he's good. He's a contact balance guy, short yardage kind of. He's one of those contact balance guys.
Yes,
Probably
and
has
that's
got a
what
little more dynamic from college tape. From the college tape, mind you, college doesn't equal pro, but from the college tape, he's a little more dynamic than some of the other guys we've had in the past that are going to play that contact balance role. But it just depends on the value, man. I do think that there's a chance the Eagles do go after one of these bigger backs in the draft. I do think that's a legitimate possibility.
Yeah, because if we can't sustain Jordan Howard, I think you could do that. But again, that would have to be a later one of our 3, 4th round pickish, 5, 5th roundish area. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
definitely.
Jalen Williams, I hear you, man. I know injuries played a role in it. I'm not disputing that. You got to take into consideration on what happened and what emerged. You got Boston Scott. You know what I'm saying? You got Miles Sanders. You got 2 tight ends that are deserving playing time. I'm not saying we're not going to run 11-man anymore, but I do think that identity's got to shift and it's got to change because the talent of the roster has changed due to what we learned because of the season. If that makes sense.
It make a lot of sense because basically what you're saying is you have to stretch the field.
Yeah.
You can't keep running cross routes. You can't keep having dudes running 15-yard routes. You have to have somebody that's going to do fly routes. You have to have somebody that's going to do. How many crossing routes did we see last year that was connected for? I really didn't see any last year. So you have to have dudes that's going to be able to go across the field. You have to have dudes that's going to have the speed to be able to take the top off of defenses. That way, everything works.
I think the Eagles are going to try to make moves at wide receiver, whether it's through the draft or it's through free agency. I think they're going to aim to get enough receivers in the stable to play 11-man, but I do think it's an uphill battle because, if you got healthy guys like D-Jax the entire season, I think that goes a tremendous way in helping you. If J.J. Arcega-Whiteside develops like he should develop, that goes a long way in helping you. It's really going to come down to Aaron Moorhead, the wide receiver coach. Can he earn his money?
Right. Hold on. I just want to pause this real fast. This is my bad, but Sexy Vegan. I ain't gonna lie to you, Sexy Vegan. About 3 months ago, you won a $25 gift card because you guessed Boston Scott right, but you never hit me back. I commented on your comment, told you that you won, but you missed out on that, man. I don't know what happened to you. No, for real. I don't know what happened to you, but you missed out on $25 gift card to Walmart, man. I don't know. I'm just seeing your name now, and that was like 3 months ago.
On Sexy Vegan's comment, I do agree that he's likely going to drop out of the top 10. I think Jerry Jeudy will.
Real quick, I think whatever happens in free agency will tell us who and what they go for in the draft. That is, I think, not exactly, but you got to think if we are heavy, if we end up getting a receiver, or it's definitely going to do something, especially if we sign that linebacker. Or I really think what the Eagles are going to use free agency for is a cornerback. I really think they're going to grab a cornerback. They might still grab a Perriman, or Anderson, or something along these lines. It keeps hearing that the Amari Cooper Eagles are one of the biggest landing spots. But I mean, that's all hearsay. But really, though, if the Eagles make moves at any one of these positions, receiver or cornerback or linebacker, they might have less of a taste for it in the draft. And so I'm hoping they get the receiver number 1 in the draft. I just think it's there for the taking. I think you can get Jefferson at 21. That still keeps you a 2nd round pick, 2 third round picks, 3 4th round picks. You got some stuff to load up with, and you get your guy. And so I hope they really take cornerback for pride because, again, the 2nd round quarterbacks, I like A.J. Terrell. He might be there from Clemson around our 2nd round pick. But, the guys like Trevon Diggs, C.J. Henderson, that Fulton dude, they're all going to be going in the 1st. And before the 2nd round comes to us, before we get to 53. So I think a guy like a AJ Terrell could be there, which I think he's pretty
If
good.
there's a run on wide receivers in the first round, I would look for guys like Bryce Hall to slip. If Bryce Hall slips far enough, that's a guy he's got the length. He's got a lot of experience playing different systems, being at UVA. Like, that's a guy I would look to in the second round. You can look at a Troy Pride Jr. in like the third round, fourth round kind of value. It just depends on how the draft board works out, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in the sense of if the receivers, they say if the draft starts going like, wow, we know there's so many receivers, but everybody's grabbing one. Now our guy's almost blah, 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 blah. People who should have been deep seconds or early second stuff that could filter in more depth later in the draft for cornerbacks. But like, yeah, Bryce Hall's a guy, but I think if everything goes according to plan, Bryce Hall gets picked like early second. Would you agree if everything goes according to plan?
Probably.
Before 53.
Not early, early like 8th or 9th in the second round.
Yeah. I think his value, the current value, we have him in as a late first into the mid second. So that's where they're anticipating, but you can never predict runs. And if there's a run on something, he's going to start slipping. I mean, it happens. There's always players this happens to every year. I mean, think about this. Aaron Rodgers went past the 20th pick. Can you imagine that? There was a draft in the NFL where Aaron Rodgers was outside the top 20. That's crazy.
Don't get us started about Tom Brady.
Hey, Roy Christian, I'm sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. Christiany said, did you guys know that the wide receiver coach for the Eagles was on the field with the receivers at the combine? No, I really didn't know that. I didn't know that, but I did see Deuce and I did see the Sproles out there with the running backs. And I think that pays a lot of dividends with this team, especially the fact that being as though Deuce has been overlooked, man. I feel as though Deuce has been overlooked for that OC position, and I think this might be Deuce's last year here. That's just my personal opinion. I feel as though they try to give him some type of title, assistant offensive coordinator, some type of title that they just made up and tried to give him. So I feel as though this is Deuce's last year, and I feel as though he did a lot for this running back room, man. You see the running backs that just come out year after year. Boston Scott, even Smallwood, Corey Clement. That's really going to be a loss when we lose him, and I feel as though we're going to lose him next year.
Hey, Jalen Williams. We'll get to that. I see you coming. Jalen Williams. The thing that you got to remember, you're talking about house in the wide receiver room. So you're talking about running 11-man with rooks over guys like Goddard, Ertz, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders. Like, you got to keep that in mind, man. It's going to depend on how they shape and shift the roster. Because it's going to be hard for rookies to get a lot of playing time out of 11-man when you got guys like Goddard and Ertz on the roster. When you got a Boston Scott, when you got Miles Sanders, who knows if we're going to sign back Jordan Howard? That's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. I mean, we're going to play some 11-man. You're not going to completely go away from 11-man. But I do think it depends on how the Eagles shape the roster, because no matter what, Alshon Jeffrey ain't going to be there probably week 1, even if he's still on the roster. He's going to be out for a significant period of time.
Real quick, just want to shout out Devin King. Thank you for the super chat. $2. It still goes a long way in the YouTube piggy bank. Thank you very much. What about trading up to get Xavier McKinney? Well, I'm going to just say that, and then you guys can say your piece on it. I honestly think the way it's starting to look, I think one of the two, McKinney or Delpit, will be there possibly around 21. Just one of them, though. One of them is going to get taken in the teens, and the other one I think can fall to the 21's pick. And I've seen models where they keep flipping. Grant Delpit goes first, then Xavier McKinney goes first. I honestly think Xavier McKinney will go first, but I've seen models keep flip-flopping. Again, I'm really leaning toward Justin Jefferson at 21. But again, we keep talking about how deep this wide receiver draft is. So really, if behind closed door, the Malcolm Jenkins talk is really getting nowhere, because Howie Roseman did come out and say something along the lines of, listen, we know what he wants to do, but we got to do what's best for the team. So if it's really getting not resolved, the Malcolm Jenkins thing, and then Ronnie McLeod is asking for too much money, maybe the Eagles say we value safety. We go up and get a guy or go up and get a guy like McKinney or Delpit, preferably McKinney, and then say, you know what, we got the Riegers, we got the Hamlers, we got the Denzel Mims maybe in the second or third, we got the Claypool in the third or fourth, we got a lot of guys we can target. So maybe our wide receiver draft is so second and third round heavy, they say, okay, Jenkins, I'm sorry, McLeod, sorry, we're gonna go get a guy who can replace day one. But I am for trying to work it out with Malcolm, because I know his age is up there, but the dude, I don't care how old you are if you always on the field, because the reason we talk about age is because most older guys can't stay on the field. He can, but don't take this out of the realm of possibilities. The Eagles could easily go up and get a corner, a safety, something like that, because they see the luxury we got at this wide receiver draft. Now, I'm not saying I'm for it, but the Eagles could do this, Again, we just want the pretty toy. I understand that we're fans. We want to get the nice, pretty toy. But they could be thinking in the long term, like, listen, the safeties and the corners, there might be some depth in here, but they're nowhere near the wide receiver. So to be smart and really fill this team, it might, I don't know. I'm not Howie, but we've seen stranger things,
Devin King, to tackle the question you're asking, I think the key to that question is, what happens? You basically said it. What happens with Malcolm Jenkins? I don't think even if Malcolm Jenkins leaves the building, we're going safety in the first round. I don't see it. And it's not because I don't think the guy is worth the pick. I see, just knowing the way the Eagles value certain positions, I don't see it.
A lot of things is going to happen. Meaning is, who is the best available player? Do we play it like that, or do we play it for a position of need? So when I say a lot of things are going to happen, a lot of things are going to happen because of this free agency. You know what I mean? So Xavier McKinney, I like it. I really like it a lot. And it's crazy that you brought that up, because do y'all know Howie has never drafted ever an Alabama player? Ever. In this whole time being here, never drafted all the talent that came through Alabama. He's never drafted an Alabama player, and I really like this kid, man. If you want to get this dude with the first round, if he gets this guy in the first round, I'm not going to be mad at all, because of how, like Philly Mike said, because of how deep the wide receiver position is. So if you go ahead and get this dude, I'm cool. I'm not gonna be mad. I ain't gonna be throwing cans at the TV and none of that. But at the same time, we do know it depends on who is left, because I'm not taking him over Henry Ruggs or Jefferson. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. It sucks, man, because I do think, because we have these weird, because Howie Roseman has these weird value concepts in his head about certain positions, I feel like we miss out on a lot of opportunities, and we draft dudes that are not in the value that they could be drafted at. And we're missing on guys because we don't value safety that highly. We don't value linebacker that highly. It's crazy to me that we miss out on it, because even if you're talking, I get top 5 money, because you got to pay money for top 5. But when you're talking the end of the first round, 20 to 32, I don't get it, man. You're going to get a good player on a rookie contract for 4 or 5 years. I really do wish he changed that perception about the way he values certain positions. I just don't think it's going to happen, man. I really don't.
I really don't think we value linebacker like you said. I think they're going to get a linebacker in this draft. I really do. Just later, like we talked about. But I would say we definitely value safety over linebacker, because look what we've done in the past. We've tried to keep Brian Dawkins for so long. We went out and got Malcolm Jenkins, a Super Bowl champion from the New Orleans Saints. We signed Ronnie McLeod from the Rams. So I think safety is a position we value a little bit more than linebacker. And, Jim Schwartz knows you need the safeties to clean up the mess that other people allow on the field. We use safety in the box. That's to clean up the linebackers. You drop the safety single high, when you do play the cover 2 back there, it's to clean up the cornerbacks. I think we do value safety over linebacker. Like, I would
I
never
agree.
see us
But
get a linebacker first.
I agree with you. But outside of the second round, because we have selected safeties in the second round, I can't tell you the last time we drafted a safety in the first round.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree with y'all. I feel as though with the becoming of Jim Schwartz, he has more of an imprint on the guys that he like. I feel as though Howie and Joe Douglas, that's not here anymore. And I want to get the Kara Poole comment real fast. But Howie and Joe Douglas, that's not here anymore, they have more imprint on drafting the guys that was on the offense. I think Jim Schwartz drafts the guys that he wants, or he has more significant picture on who he wants. So I want to get to Kara Poole real fast. She said, Howie's good with the money, but not much so talent. Now, here's what I want to say about that. I kind of agree with you, but we have to give Howie the benefit of the doubt this year, because we don't know if it was him or if it was Joe Douglas drafting these cornerbacks or drafting a Donnell Pumphrey or stuff like that, because Douglas was here for all that. Howie might have a final say, but you got Douglas and the scouting team saying, all right, well, we want this guy and we want this guy. And then they come together and Howie probably pulls the trigger at the end of the day. But at the same time, we have to see what he's going to do without a Joe Douglas. That's what I wanted to say to Kara Poole.
Yo, it's funny, Mike. Every time you comment, it's hitting both of our accounts.
Yeah, I just seen that. I'm like, did you really say the same thing I said?
Hey guys, if you're seeing like Mike comments and it's Mike commenting, we can post it on both channels. It's pulled up together like that. So I think anytime one of us comments is going to comment, it's both of us.
Yeah. See, this is how it is. The people who are watching from my channel are in a different chat than the people who are watching from Gate City Sports Channel. They're in different chats. Like, if you're in Gate City Sports chat and these people are in my chat, but we see everything as one. So like, I got 20 something people in here. He got almost 30 people in there. And so it's a total of 53 people. We can see 53 and we can see everybody's stuff, but that's what we were trying to do. That's why we did the announcement earlier, that little 2-minute video, because we wanted to make sure it could run on both channels. So I mean, if you guys are sub to both of us and went off this channel, if you went off my channel and went to Gate City, you'll see the exact same thing, just a different, same vice versa, the exact same thing. So that's why it's coming up exactly that we both write the same thing.
I want to share something, everybody, on the share screen. And I want to see what you guys think, because this has got to do with a lot what Jalen Williams was talking about. And it's going to tie in a little bit to what we've been talking about today, which is, just looking from some of the things we know. I'm going to go to my Chrome tab, guys. Where do we go? Where do we go with these selections to free agency? So can everybody see the sharp football stats? If you come down here to Philly, all right, that's 38% block, guys. That's 11-man personnel. This is 2019, okay? 54%, that's 12-man. That's when we were in 12-man, okay? Now, if I come up here and I change it, let's go to 2018, all right? So
I don't see it on the screen.
You guys can't see anything on the screen?
Listen,
No.
I can see it come on your screen. Like, you know how you can see the screens below?
Okay.
I can see it on your screen below, but it's not coming up on the main screen.
All right. I'm going to paste it into, I'm going to copy and paste it, guys. Well, Philly Mike, I'm going to give you the link because I don't know if it'll let me paste. Let me see. Let me see if it'll let me paste, guys. Now, so, all right, guys. If you go to, I can't believe it won't share. That's weird.
It shared it on your thing. Like it came up on my below screen saying that you're trying to do it. It's just not, it's not cycling on.
All right,
your
let me
screen.
try it again. All right, is it showing now?
Nizar.
No.
No, it's still not showing. All right, guys. If you go to, all right, I'll give you guys the link. If you go to Sharp Football,
Oh, there it is. There it is. Listen. When you pull it up, it goes on the bottom and it tells me to add it to the screen.
Oh, all right. It's tripping. All right. So we're going to look at 2018 and we'll go back to 2019, guys. All right. So if you go to 2018 and you go here and you look at 11-man personnel, okay, right here, 3 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end. All right. We ran this 52% of all plays in 2018. If you go to 12-man, one running back, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. We ran out of that set 39% in 2018. All right. We're a heavy 12-man offense. We always kind of have been since we added Goddard. Goddard was kind of that key player we brought in that kind of switched us over. But when we go to 2019, guys, there's a huge shift here. And we can get into that because I think Jalen Williams has some points. But you can see we went down to 38% in 11-man, and we went into 54% in the 12-man. Some of this, Jalen Williams right, 100% has to do with injuries. It has to do with the fact that we had a lot of injuries. We lost a lot of receivers. That shifted us. But what can't be discounted has a lot to do with the tight ends we have on the football team too. Now add in, we have these running backs. Now what do you guys do in terms of free agency? Because we already talked about the prospects of releasing Alshon Jeffrey. If you don't release Alshon and you're anticipating his return, that's a period of time. The timetable I heard was 11 months.
It's long.
That's like in November. That's a long period of time. You're going without him. So where do you go? Like, what do you do in free agency? What do you do in a draft? Like, I can't see other than adding faster X's, faster, Z's and Y receivers to how you know what I'm saying? Like, I still feel like you're going to be playing a lot of 12-man.
You have to get players in the draft, and you have to get a player in free agency at the wide receiver position. Point blank period is nothing to discuss. You have $44 million right now, and that's with Malcolm Jenkins on the field, in the locker room. If you get rid of Malcolm Jenkins, you will have $52 million, right?
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you get wide receivers. We cannot waste Carson Wentz's time. He's in his prime right now, going on his 5th year. I'm going to let Philly might get into this comment. I know he do. I know he wants to. So I'm going to let him get into that.
Nah, I'm actually going to read it to. I'm going to hear one. I want to hear y'all answers first. What do you think? I heard Eagles would make a deal with the Browns at 10. Barry has ties. Barry, who left Philly and went to the Browns.
For who?
For who?
I think he's a Ruggs dude. He's Ruggs.
Ruggs?
No, not a 10. Not a 10. No, not a 10.
I think Ruggs. I'm big with like 15ish for Ruggs.
Yeah, 10's way too high. You have to give up way too much for him. You go to 10, you're pulling an Isaiah Simmons if he's still available.
What did he?
Ruggs not a top 10 talent.
What did he run in the 40? What did Isaiah Simmons run in the 40? Like a 40?
I don't even know, man. Let me see.
I could have sworn I saw like 4.3 or something. I maybe I'm bugging out, but I quick looked at it. Don't quote me on that. But I
You heard it here first. Philly Mike say 4.3940. It says.
I knew I saw that. I was like, my God.
You go up to 10. You're getting an Isaiah Simmons if he's still available.
He could
not
do
a Henry Ruggs.
He could do it all. Yeah. He could do it all back there.
Yeah,
he's a monster.
That dude's ridiculously talented, man. And like I said, I don't see the Eagles trading up that high for a linebacker / safety, but dude, I would be jumping up out of my seat because that would indicate to me that there's a whole change of philosophy in Philadelphia. However, we would have traded away pretty much half our picks to go get him, and where are we getting a receiver?
Yeah,
right. That's the other side of that. But
yeah,
See,
I think Howie's big on keeping his picks this year. I think he really wants to spread the wealth because listen, the best way to infiltrate your team with youth is getting all these young boys from the draft. Because every contract you get 4 years. 4 years with a 5th year option to play them. Okay, the first round picks get paid something. They might get paid a little bit more. Like, you get a first round receiver, he might make blah, blah million. But then like I said, the deeper it goes, you still find talent. You get paid off your drafting, and having you on your rookie deal is important. And we need to get younger.
Guys, I know some of y'all are expecting him to go in the top 12. I'm not saying you're wrong. It doesn't, like, to me, you can't predict what team will fall in love with a player and reach. People reach. I'm just saying it's a reach. If you mess with Ruggs, in my opinion, before the 15th pick in the draft, you're reaching. You're reaching so bad you're gonna extend the elbow, like you're gonna have to put it in a wrap. It's gonna be in a sling. because that's a reach, man. You're reaching hard. Like, I like Ruggs. I think Ruggs could do a lot in Philadelphia. I think he's a perfect fit, a wide receiver for what we need. You got to be careful with that, man. You can't give up too many picks. Like I said, if this was any other draft where the talent pool wasn't so good, and you had one guy who was good enough, and the rest of the players probably aren't going to pan out, man, go get them. I think this is a draft where you can walk away with 5 quality players, 5 to 6 really long-term quality players. Got to be careful. Got to be careful not to give away too many picks, in my opinion. And I'm a Ruggs guy. I like Ruggs.
Me too.
Yeah, but we thought that in the Donald Pumphrey draft with all them running backs. Going into that season, we
still can't believe he didn't work out, bro.
Me personally, I was like, damn, it's so many running backs. I mean, dude playing for the XFL right now.
When we drafted that dude,
and I was like, yo, it's so many running backs. We can't miss on a running back. And we ain't really had none. It was just coming off of what was the guy named? DeMarcus from Dallas that we had got. What was the guy named from Dallas? DeMarcus, I can't remember his name. But anyway, the guy that from Dallas that we had got, it was just coming off of that with the Chip Kelly situation and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, dude, you're talking about
Murray.
Marco Murray.
Marco Murray, yeah.
It was coming off of that situation. And I'm like, man, we gonna find somebody in this draft. I'm looking at the draft board. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Then we got Donald Pumphrey. I'm like, okay, we got a dude that's all purpose. Man, he all purpose to sit on the bench. But we got to sure that we don't do that no more, man.
Yeah. I shared in my community post the other day. It was a picture of Al Horford here. You know how them pictures where they do it shows Al Horford, then he starts to fade out and he fades out and he turns into somebody else.
Oh man.
He turned into DeMarco Murray.
What's up, Charles Smith?
You guys see me?
That's funny though.
Yeah. I mean, I do think the Eagles got to get back to playing some 11 man. This roster needs so much turnover, man. For all the good that Howie Roseman has done, that contract that he signed with Alshon Jeffrey, man, that was a mistake, dude.
You say so much turmoil, right? But
not turmoil, turnover. It needs a lot of turnover, not turmoil. Okay. Yeah,
I think so. I think it's only one player, 1 or 2 players. You only need an X receiver. We got.
Yeah, but what do you do about the Y when Deshaun's gone the following year, though, man?
I mean, you can settle that in the draft. What I'm saying is free agency. All you got to do is get an X, right? You get your X, and then we still had Greg. I think Greg Ward can play the slot. I still think he's a substantial guy that you can be in the slot and is kind of reliable. I mean, we'll know once the year get going, but at the same time, everything else around Carson Wentz is cool. Tight ends, offensive line, other than Jason Peters, and I hope we get into that later. Running back, you good. We don't know what's going to happen with Jordan Howard, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Jordan Howard. But you still do have Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and who knows, maybe Corey Clement. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Offensive line is good. You still got your offensive line. You still got your tight ends. You still got your couple wide receivers. But
even on the offensive line, man, I mean, there's still concerns there. You got Jason Kelce not going to be around forever.
No. I've been saying we had to draft.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were saying.
What do you feel about Isaac Suamalo? I think Suamalo is more of a center than a guard, man. I'm not in love with him at left guard at all.
I'm not neither, but I'm not really in love with him at center neither. He is big. He is bigger than Kelce, though. It's one thing about Kelce that kind of gets us in trouble is the size, but they know how to shoot him up to the second level fast. He gets the ball out. He gets the ball to the quarterback fast and shoots out to the second level. So they kind of use him differently than other centers that just want to sit there in the pocket or around the pocket. But you do have to find a center. I don't know if it's going to come in this draft. I don't know, but that's a lot of things that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's offensive line, man, and that's the most important thing when we talking about Carson Wentz. I know
we need interior linemen. We do.
Right.
Rivals BT. That's a good question, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm a big CJ Henderson fan. I've done videos on the man. I like him. I think he can play pretty high in this league. And I got to be honest with you, if this guy, if all the receivers are off the board, if there's a serious run on receivers, because to me, I'm not drafting any receiver past Jefferson in the first round. That's it. Now you go look at the second round because now you start reaching for him. But if you get a CJ Henderson there, I would take him personally. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'd take CJ Henderson. But, I'm going
to co-sign that. I'm going to co-sign that on a simple fact that, listen, I think, like I said, Henry Ruggs would be in my – I like Henry Ruggs. I just don't – I think you can, to go up to from 21 to 15, you can give up maybe your first in one of our thirds. That's it. Take a third. We're moving up. We're switching 6 spots. If Denver likes somebody else, they can move back to this 21st. It's cool. But I can't go any further because if you try to go up to 10, now you're talking a first, a third, maybe some, just too much. I can't give this too much up because we got to hit other places too. Now, Rivals BT. Me and both Gay Cities both spoke about CJ Henderson and Trevon Diggs. I think Trevon Diggs is going to go before CJ Henderson, but I've seen some flips on it. I see some flips on it. I've seen that Fulton dude actually bounce back and forth too.
After they did the measurements on Diggs, he's going top 20. He's going top 20.
Diggs, a freak. And
it's
crazy. He can play a lot of positions. He probably can play safety. Like, this dude is really a freak, man.
Yeah. I would love to have Diggs fall into our laps at 21. I'm sure the Eagles would too.
Yeah. Well, see, and this is my whole thing. If we don't move up to get Ruggs, whatever, if we don't move up to get Ruggs and Justin Jefferson is not there, again, I'm not saying nothing bad against T. Higgins or Chenault or the Jalen Reagers, the KJ Hamlers, all these guys, but not 21. Like Gate City says, if Lamb, Judy, Ruggs, and Jefferson, which we know them other ones are going to be way early. If they're not there at 21, I think you try to get either to Trevon Diggs, if he's there, or to CJ Henderson, and then at the 53rd pick, you take your guy. You have to go wide receiver then 100%, and there's still going to be guys there who can ball. But
hey, Rivals BT, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. And y'all might laugh at me about this, and Rivals might laugh at me about this too, but I kind of like Bryce Hall a little better, man. I think Bryce Hall is a beast, man. This dude, he covers. He's the same size as what's his name? He's the same size as Henderson, but he's a little faster, and I think that he would be a better fit for this team if we're gonna get a cornerback. Bryce Hall is a problem, man.
Yeah.
And
well, Bryce Hall, and I would say Diggs and Hall are probably better zone corners. Mm-hmm. I think that's where their fit is in more of a zone scheme. They have the ability to play, man. Don't get me wrong, but I just think they would be really good zone corners because their length is going to bother throwing windows.
Exactly.
But I think CJ Henderson is better suited, like, I hate to say it, but like a Byron Jones, that kind of uptight press kind of, yeah.
But that's not what we play. We don't play man-to-man across the board. You go stick him and shut down half the field. That's the reason why I feel as though unless Mark Manuel is going to get in the jump short's ear, it don't matter what kind of cornerbacks we have because we're still going to play the defense that he plays. We're going to have you 7 yards. We're going to have you 7 yards where your receiver is, and he's going to be able to do a hitch route or just to turn you around. So I feel as though for this defense, that's why I feel as though Bryce Hall is a better fit than Henderson.
Yeah, I shine 101. It's not that I disagree with you because I think that you have a point there, but I think it's not the position, it's the rules. The rules around the NFL made it a hell of a lot harder to play corner than to play wide receiver.
Yeah. it's a lot harder to play cornerback. They're tying your hands behind your back. They're making you not be able to do anything, you know. But again, don't get me wrong. I said I would do that if Justin Jefferson wasn't there. But that is at the end of the day, my final statement is I believe Justin Jefferson will be there, and I believe Howie wants to keep as many picks to fill this team with young players that can help this team win football games. So I really believe if someone said, pick who you think the Eagles are going to draft with the 21st pick, if you're right, you get this amount of money. Sign me up for Justin Jefferson. Now, would I be okay with Ruggs? Yes. Would I be okay with him? Yes. Would I be okay with, moving? Yes. But if you're asking me what I bet, and I'm a gambler, I'm taking Justin Jefferson.
All right. Hey, Joseph Vega, if I get your question wrong, let me know, man. But I'm going to throw this out to y'all. I think what he's asking is, do you think that the schedule, and as difficult as our schedule is this upcoming year, could derail the Eagles season?
It will be battle tested. That's where, I mean, we've seen teams before skip by, 5-0, really easy schedule, start getting to the hard part of the schedule, and they start getting it handed to them. So at the end of the day, if we can get through a tough schedule and have a favorable record, it's more battle tested for the playoffs. And, it is what it is.
Ask that question again, Gate City. My bad. I was reading a comment.
Do you think that the schedule for this upcoming season will derail the Eagles season, basically? Do you think that the strength of schedule could derail our season, basically?
Where do you even see that one at?
Joseph Vega.
Yeah, I was looking for that too. But
8:56 p.m.
Oh.
But I don't know the whole. They didn't put out the actual schedule yet. They just put out who we playing home and who we playing away, right? I didn't see that actual schedule, so I would have to see how that's going to come about before I say anything.
He corrected it. He said, "No, I'm saying this is why we can't be soft getting players to go out and sign Anderson." Draft Ruggs, and get Logan Ryan corner from the Titans. He's saying he's pretty much saying that he thinks like we all said, we have to all say a little differently that we have to be thorough with who we bring in here because of the hard schedule coming up.
Let me ask y'all a question real fast. Gate City, Philly Mike, would you rather get in free agency? Would you rather get Logan Ryan or I can't never say his name right.
I'm not high on Logan Ryan, guys. I did a video on him where I broke down the advanced analytics on him. I'm not high on Logan Ryan, guys.
I was talking about what's his name, Chenault, the middle linebacker from Cleveland.
Oh, Schobert.
Yeah, okay. Schobert. I always mess his name up. I don't want to keep messing his name up. So would you rather get a corner or would you rather get Chenault?
Ooh. Schobert.
Me too. Especially for this season, the quarterbacks that we had to face, we need a middle linebacker that's going to cover the whole middle of not the whole middle of the field.
Wait, what did you ask him, Philly Fresh?
I'm asking, would you rather have one of these top in free agency? I'm not talking about the draft. In free agency, would you rather have one of these top cornerbacks like Byron Scott or Jones, dudes like that, or would you rather have Chenault at linebacker? Because we're not going to be able to get all these free agencies.
I'm taking a corner
over Chenault.
Schobert, yeah.
Schobert,
I'll tell you why I would go Schobert, Mike. This is my opinion on it. I feel like that there are lesser values at the corner market where you don't have to break the bank, where you can get value. I feel like the way we use our linebackers, it's of the utmost importance to find the right guy to run that system we run. And I think Schobert is such a natural fit for what we do in Philadelphia. I think you can go get a lot of second-tier guys at corner who would improve the defense. You know what I mean? I don't think you need to go get the top market guys at corner to improve. I really don't. But to be honest with you, Mike, I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think you're going to go get any of the top linebackers in the market. You already know, me and you talked a long time about this. I don't trust Howie Roseman to make those type of decisions. I don't think he values linebackers enough. I don't.
Yeah, Yeah, Schobert is. I mean, he's very solid for the Browns. He's a very solid guy. I think he come in to work, but like, I mean, it's a passing league, bro. You got to stop the pass. You got to stop the pass. And we
play zone, but we play a zone concept. So if you don't have a linebacker with a certain length and a certain ability to play the ball, man, I just fear like no matter how good your corners play, if the defensive line doesn't get home and those underneath guys don't fill the zone correctly, we're going to get picked apart anyways.
And that's why Malcolm Jenkins is so essential to this defense.
Yeah, I mean,
that he plays that linebacker position. But if you have a linebacker, we got to understand when Jordan Hicks was here, Malcolm Jenkins didn't have to play in a box like that. You know what I mean? So you got to understand, like especially you say it's a passing league, but it's a lot. It's no really cornerbacks coming out of the draft or no really quarterbacks that's in a league that's stationary. You need somebody that can keep up with these quarterbacks.
Yeah, but
we're facing Lamar Jackson next year.
No middle linebacker can keep up with him. Maybe Luke Kuechly, maybe.
Luke Kuechly, he done. But anyway,
I'm saying a type like that who can really run side to side. But like I'm saying, if you want to spy you want to spy a guy like Lamar Jackson, you need a safety, you need a corner to do that. You need a guy who's going to run. You're not going to be able to spy with your middle linebacker. I mean, just
if he takes the right angles, you're not going to catch him if you get a foot race. You're not going to catch him in a foot race, but I mean, if he takes the right angles and keeps him in the pocket, you know what I mean?
That's all you need, containment. I'm not saying, but it's all about containment. With Lamar Jackson, it's about containment. Nobody's going to stop him.
So you're gonna pay Joe Schobert like $10 million?
If it was only $10 million, Mike, I would. I think it's going to be more than that.
My God.
I do. I think it's going to be more than $10 million for him. I do.
See, that's my thing, yo. But see, Schobert to me is more of a tackling linebacker. He's more of a run stopper. He's not really. I don't see him being really great in
coverage.
No, he's a really good pass. He's really good against the pass. Actually, tackling is probably his weak suit, to be honest.
Seriously?
Yeah. He missed a little. He missed a few tackles. Yeah.
All right,
and you're talking about his best year was not last year, the year before.
Yeah, it was. It was the year before. It was his best year. Yeah. I think he's a two-time Pro Bowler. He is a two-time Pro Bowler.
Is he a better cover linebacker than Corey Littleton?
No. Corey Littleton's a much better athlete.
Exactly. And again,
Corey Littleton's probably going to cost you over $14 million.
I mean, hey, where you're spending 13? What's cool?
I don't know if I'd go that high on linebacker, but I mean, I would pay 10. If you give me a guy like Schobert or Littleton for 10, I'd pay it in a heartbeat. It's a good deal. I mean, they're good football players. Yeah, I mean, we just haven't had like a decent linebacker in the past couple of years, man. I mean, bro, we've been getting killed since we lost Kendricks and Hicks, man.
Yeah, yo, Bradham was good the first year he came.
But he had Kendricks and Hicks.
Yeah.
We asked him to do everything when Hicks went down that year, man, and he lived up to it in 2017. But
Jordan
I don't know, man. It bothers me the way that we devalue linebacker. Maybe it's because we're just old school. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're old school and we remember the Jeremiah Trotters. I don't know, but it does bother me the way they devalue linebacker. It does.
Let's get some of these comments, man. I don't want to leave people out. I'll let y'all do that.
So go ahead. Somebody answer the comments on the screen.
I got lost. Where we at?
Don't I have one up on the screen?
Yeah.
Do you? My bad. I can't even see, bro. I'm all over the place. All right. The Eagles interviewed 3 quarterbacks at the NFL Combine: James Morgan, Shea Patterson, and Jordan Love. Why? Kevin Cronin. My theory is that the Eagles are going to take a quarterback much higher than people are thinking. Not because any threat to Carson Wentz. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think we're going to be in the 7th round looking quarterbacks. Well, we don't have a 7th round pick, so we're definitely not going to be in the 7th round looking for quarterbacks. But I think you could see the Eagles with one of those 3rd and 4th round picks if we keep them. I think you could see them go quarterback there. I think it's possible.
Me personally, coming off of last year, I don't feel as though that you need to draft a quarterback. I feel as though we missed out on fifth round pick. We could have grabbed another body, and you got a dude that didn't even make it past preseason. So me personally, I feel as though it's going to be a lot of quarterbacks are going to get overlooked because everybody is looking at this wide receiver position. So a lot of quarterbacks is going to get overlooked, and you can get dudes off the streets. And I feel as though you don't need to draft a quarterback. I don't know why they're looking at these dudes. They're probably just looking at other things. They're probably just trying to throw teams off of what they're doing. Who knows? But at the same time, me personally, I'm not drafting a quarterback. I don't care. I don't care if
it's you guys are getting the full spectrum, the full spectrum of coverage here.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right, what you think, Mike?
I'm more for if you're gonna you get your backup get a veteran guy. You get a guy you get the Case Keenums, the Marcus Mariotas, the Joe Flacco's, the one of them dudes, a Fitzpatrick. We know Ryan Fitzpatrick, a great guy to come off the bench and win you a game or two. But that's all you want him for is a game.
I like Fitzmagic, and you guys know I'm a believer in veteran presence at the quarterback position because it's an extra coach basically on the field. But this is what I'll say in conclusion to this, guys. We signed 101 coaches that have quarterback experience coaching or playing. I mean, it just seems right for a project, a developmental project.
Yeah, but that project hasn't been going good. We thought that with Nate Sudfeld was going to be a project, but I don't even know what this dude can do. Like, you come in that Dallas game in 2017, you scored 0 points. You put up a donut. You couldn't even get in the field goal position. So it's like, this staff right now, I don't know what they can do developing quarterbacks.
I think Peterson can develop them. I do think that's a strong suit of Peterson. I think he knows how to develop quarterbacks. The unknown here is I don't know how good Brenner is. I mean, Brenner's a former. He's had experience coaching quarterbacks. I think he played receiver, and I know he's been a receiver coach. You got, Rich Scandrello, who's definitely known for developing quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got it in there. I mean, I don't know what the young kid. I mean, Press Taylor, I don't know what his experience is with quarterbacks, but I don't even know if the kid ever played before, to be honest.
Well, we know he don't care about protecting the ball in the pocket because he hasn't done nothing with Carson on that.
I think that's why they brought Rich Scandrello in. I think that's why he's here. It's because of those issues.
Hey,
you had a couple of comments up there, but I missed them, man.
All right. Well, look, I just want to talk about this Taysom Hill thing because I saw that article and I read that article when it was out. The dude who wrote about us getting Taysom Hill was because they said the best ability is availability, and if you get a guy like Taysom Hill, you can sit Carson Wentz game so he's healthy for the playoffs. And I read that article and I was just like, get this out of my face. Like, legitly they're talking about getting a backup quarterback to just say healthy scratch Carson Wentz till you get to the playoffs. Like, no.
No, I don't. I wouldn't personally.
Yeah, I know, but when I read that article, I mean, these guys are really writing about it, talking about this will be a good idea. You can have him play a game or two or a lot of series and that. You can just have Carson Wentz be healthy and just, no. Come on, man. So
someone was asking a question earlier when we were on the topic about James Morgan, about quarterbacks and why he's being valued so highly. He's one of these prospects, guys. He's a lower level prospect, but he's got to speed up his decision making in the pocket. Super good deep passer, really accurate on deep throws. He's got the arm. He's not scared to hang in the pocket and throw. It takes guts, guys, with a 260-pound guy coming down at you. I mean, that's what I saw out of the kid. I haven't had a time to really break down his film because I haven't really got the quarterbacks yet, but that's what I'm hearing about this particular kid, James Morgan, is that big arm, deep, accurate deep thrower, needs to speed up his process, needs to speed up the decision making, see the field better. That's what I heard.
Real quick before we answer this next question, if you guys are in this chat, like it says on the bottom, don't do it now, but just keep it in your, back here. if you are not subscribed, well, if you're in here, you're subscribed to at least one of us. If you're not subscribed to the other ones, all I'm saying is to go to their page, check them out, watch the very first video, or scroll through and find a video. There's a lot of off-season videos that we all been making because that's all we got is the off-season, and we keep it Eagles every single day as much as possible. So just watch one of the videos. If you like it, join the team. Simple as that. So you got the Philly Talk podcast for people who are in here who are not subscribed to me. You got Gate City Sports Channel for people who are in there and not subscribed to him. And down below, let's not forget Philly Fresh. Go check this man out. Just watch a video. I'll never tell somebody to close your eyes and subscribe blindly. But I will say, go check it out. Watch a video. If you can get through it and you like it, bang. But that's all right out there. So go ahead. Somebody read this question and we'll try to see what they say.
Would you guys trade back in the draft and get a second or third back back like we did a few years with the Ravens when the Ravens got Lamar Jackson?
Depends on who's available.
That's what it's always about. It's really not about what we think right now. It's about how the draft is going to go. It's about if I keep saying this, and I keep preaching this. Is the Washington football team going to get another quarterback, or are they going to go another way? Because I feel as though being up there at the top 10 is going to determine what we're going to do. And how he's going to look at it like, all right, this talent is here, this talent is here, and who needs what? And general managers, like how we talk, and they probably don't talk how we talk to each other, but they know what a general manager is going to do. They're more incohesive of each other than we know. You understand what I'm saying? So if Howie gets a determination like, all right, no, this team's going to get that person, I'm going to go up and get this person, or I might fall back because I might be able to get this person. So it all depends on who falls and who's lack, man.
Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson, I think he's a little bit more of a project, guys, to be honest. I don't know if I would go as high as the third round on him, but I think that might be where his value ends up, guys. That's a tough one, guys, because I have to go back and look at his measurements. I know there were questions about what he would measure in as in terms of, like, you know, the length on this kid. Late third, early fourth, yes.
I actually
got that supplemental pick at the end of the third, which is basically like the beginning of the fourth. Sure, I could see that.
Real quick, Sexy Vegan said, all right, guys, I'm heading out. Lacrosse season starts for me tomorrow. We'll go get that, do what you got to do. Always good,
right.
Good having you over here.
All right, Sexy Vegan, good luck, bro.
Real quick, this is how I feel about Jalen Johnson. I think in the beginning, right when like the season ended and stuff, and they were doing their first mock drafts, this guy was high. I do think he has some developmental things, but I think he plays man defense really good. He's not that good in zone. I think his man is on point, though. But I think he fits a third round. Of course, our third round will be in the 20s. You know what I mean? I don't know what our compensatory third round is, but I think late third, I would, depending if we didn't go cornerback second, if we went receiver first, something else in the second, and now you're talking about Bryce Hall, AJ Terrell, all these other guys that are off the board in the second.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Johnson, like I said, zone is.
I think he's got ball hawking skills.
Yeah,
I do think you can give him credit for that he will make a play on the ball in the air. But yeah,
I think he's a physical guy too, isn't he?
Jalen, I think you put his value correctly. I think you got his value spot on. I think it's third, fourth round is his value.
I agree because I feel as though it's about 4 or 5 cornerbacks that's better than him in this draft. He is a good cover corner. He attacks the ball. He has good feet. He has good placement, and he knows how to find the ball. So he is a ball hawk, but it's 4 cornerbacks, 4 DBs in this draft that I would take over.
Man, Bradley Roby. He's up and down, man. He's really up and down. He had a pretty good season this past season, but I don't know how I feel about him, man. I feel like I think I said in a video when we was talking, Mike, I said I felt like the Eagles might do something crazy like this. Go after Bradley Roby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely an up and down player. He plays for the Texans now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy to play that with that defense talent around because they got none back there except for maybe him.
I guess it depends on the value. Like, what's the contract going to cost?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. If we don't go ahead and try to get a big name corner, the only big name corner out there that wants to get paid is Byron Jones. And I don't know. Besides being a Cowboy, the talent's there, but again, not $16 million. I can't give that to a corner. That's rough. But so it depends on how much value, of course, like you said.
Yeah, Big Moose. I made a video about him. I'm a huge Akeem Davis-Gaither fan. To be honest, I said that this kid has a little Brian Dawkins in him in terms of the athleticism. He's one of the few guys I've seen since B-Doc fly through the air like a flying squirrel for a sack. I mean, the dude's exceptionally athletic. There's going to be some questions about where he fits. Is he a linebacker? Is he a safety? I think if you play him as a linebacker, he's a will. But I do think you can bring him down like a Malcolm Jenkins and really kind of move him all around. I mean, he's definitely one of those guys. If you can get him in the 3rd or 4th round, I think he pulls the trigger. The kid's exceptional talent. What do you guys think?
Oh, I agree. He flies around like nobody's business. If you look at this dude's highlights, you would, if you just look at his highlights, you would put this dude in the 1st round of draft because he is a ball hawk. Like you said, he's kind of like B-Dog. But it's hard to find what kind of dude this guy is. I mean, you look at his size. I'm trying to find how tall he is, but he can be. I mean, with this defense, can he be your Malcolm Jenkins? But I feel as though he doesn't cover it as well. But he finds that ball, man. So I agree.
I think that he's a guy that you could fit into a couple of different scenarios. And I like the kid that Philly Mike brought up, which is Chin, Southern Illinois. I think you pair him with a guy like Akeem Gaither Davis, man, you start creating a really dynamic defense that can hit you in multiple ways, man. Those two guys, you can move all around the football field. They can pick up a slot receiver. They can be a will linebacker. They can play that Malcolm Jenkins role and come down as a strong safety in the box. Like, dude, those two guys would make your defense, like, you would never know if they were blitzing, covering, like, you would never know what was going on with those two.
And I can see us getting him. We could get him in around the 4th.
Yeah,
I think
he's projected to go in the 2nd round.
Who
you talking about?
Jeremy Chin?
Oh, y'all talking about? I thought we was still talking about. It's my bad.
Now, the last time I saw Gaither Davis, they still had him in the 3rd. He dropped back a little bit back to the 3rd.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah.
I want to answer your question that you just pulled up. You said, what are your linebacker rankings? If you're talking about for the draft, I like my first one is Isaiah Simmons, of course. Cold beast, man. I gotta go with Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma. I like him. Gets around the ball, can find the ball, ball hawk, can cover a little bit, but he did get burned a whole lot. I like Patrick Queen. If y'all know anything about him,
LSU.
I don't know how to say his last name, but when I was looking up linebackers, came up Zach
Baum.
Baum. Yeah, Baum.
Oh my goodness, that dude! I like that dude, and the dude that we was just talking about, Davis. They like my top 5. I like them linebackers a lot.
Yeah, but everybody you name is gonna be. You got Zay, who's going in the 1st round. You got the other guys who one of them might fall to the third, but the bulk of that's going to be in the second.
I would add Troy Dye, Malik Harrison. There's a few other guys you can put in there. Yeah.
No. I was just giving you all my top 5. I love Malik Harrison.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give them some variety. Yeah, I don't want to copy your list exactly.
You got Cam Brown from Penn State. Don't forget about him.
Yeah, it's true.
I like him, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Penn State fan, so I watch him all my life. I mean, I watched him all his career, but I really like Cam Brown. There's a couple other dudes. Hold on, let me try to find this list. Jordan Brooks from Texas Tech.
The only thing about Bond is though, from Bond is I think that he might be more of a 34 rush linebacker
because he got mad sacks. He's a blitzer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more where his fit is, but I do like him. I mean, when you put the film on that, like I think I even put him in the film where I was doing it, where I knew I wasn't going to really talk about him being a possibility, but dude is he just pops on film, man. The dude can rush.
Real quick, shout out to my boy D Block 11. What's going on, bro? He said, "Yo, fellas."
What's good, man?
Hey, what's up, fella? I don't see that.
It might be down some.
So Eagle Clip says, "Do you think we should take 2 receivers in the draft or 2 corners?"
Go ahead, Gates.
Shit. Depends on how free agency works out. Probably going to be receivers.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be big on trying to get somebody at corner in free agency too, which will limit us having to get another corner. And I think if with the way the depth is at wide receiver, if you go wide receiver early, you can get one in that 3rd, 4th-ish round. Cornerback, if you go second, I don't know where you want to really attack corner again. I mean, you can always get like a 5th or 6th dude, but I mean, who knows about that?
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely could. I mean, there's some value here and there with some of these guys, but I don't know, man. I get this weird feeling that the Eagles are going to go corner in free agent.
But even if you do go corner, like I said in my last video, I don't want 10 rookies. I'd rather you get the best available players, trade up or whatever the case may be. But Eagle Clips, you saying 2 receivers or 2 corners, if you're going to draft, I feel as though with 10 picks, you can get both. Mm-hmm. You can really get both. You can really use 4 picks to get 2 receivers and 2 corners. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I
honestly, like when I did my kind of draft and I was talking with Mike, I don't know, Philly Fresh, you might have been there, man. I think you were. Yeah. I told people, like, I might surprise you, but how often I go defense in my draft.
Yo, so far I've been playing with some mock drafts too, and this is how it went. I did one today, and I kind of liked it. I actually think I got it saved. I went Jefferson first, just for Henry Ruggs went like in this draft at like 14 or something. I don't remember, but I took Jefferson, and then my next 3 picks were defense. I went AJ Terrell in the second. I went they actually had Ashton Davis. I went Ashton Davis in the 3rd, and then I went Malik Harris with our other 3rd, because like I said, the reason I talk about 3 linebackers a lot, it's not that I don't like the Isaiah Simmons, the Patrick Queens, the Kenneth Murrays, the Zach Bombs, of course. But do I realistically think we're going to get there at that time? I don't. So I've been focusing on the Troy Dyes, the Malik Harrisons, and Jordan Brooks. And I think Jordan Brooks is actually falling more into like the 4th-ish. And so that's value, though.
I told people that, man, when I turned on his film, because, earlier they had that man as a late 1st, beginning of the 2nd. And I turned on his Brooks. I turned on his film, bro, and I was immediately like, I don't see it. I mean, he was just flat out getting eaten up by offensive linemen sometimes. He's too big for that.
Yeah, the thing is, listen, when he penetrates, he gets through, he can do damage, but he's not good at climbing blockers. He should be better at climbing blockers for his size.
But his blocking shed really let me down, man. It's like you got to get your hands out and move, man. Like it shot me because he's not a small guy. Like he might be a little shorter in stature, but I mean, like the dude, he's pretty well built, man. I mean, I guess sometimes maybe we sleep on the length aspect of playing that position.
Real quick, shout out to Kara Poole. She's a big AJ Terrell. You know, she said Terrell's my guy. Shout out to her. She's big on him. Ever since I gave her that little mock draft thing to do, not on the fan speak one, because the fan speak one, I'm gonna show you another one, Kara. The fan speak mock draft, it gets all 10 picks now. The other one I showed you don't get 10 picks, so I'll show you that. But I like this one. I want to bring this question up because let's talk about this thing right here. What do you think we will do at the D tackle third spot?
Hassan Ridgeway.
That's my guy. Yo, I was amazed when I saw like Timmy Jurgen is good, but I think the money he's gonna want in free agency if we bring him back is not worth what we can get away with paying Hassan Ridgeway. But yo, do me a favor if you don't know, go look up Hassan Ridgeway's year and Timmy Jurgen's. Listen, Timmy Jurgen played 2 more games, I think. Don't quote me on this, but it's like 1 or 2 or 3 more games, and they're exactly the same, almost exactly the same. I think Ridgeway has one more sack.
Ideally, you like to have them both back, but if you're making me choose, I would take Ridgeway.
For the 3 years.
I think Jernigan already gave us that 1 year, prove it kind of home base contract. I don't know that he's going to do that a second time.
But who's gonna? I'm just intervening. I'm kind of just coming in on this, but who's going to pay him? He really showed nothing. See, here's the thing with a DT like Timmy Jernigan. You have to really break down film on him because he stops the run, but he doesn't get at the quarterback. People like DTs that get at the quarterback. So you have to make sure that you're getting your numbers, and just stuffing the run is not going to get you money and not going to get you paid.
Yeah, he's definitely a run stuffer. I think he can shoot the gap on occasion and put pressure on the quarterback. I just don't think he's as good as Hassan Ridgeway at doing that.
And all the years that he's been with us, he only has 4 sacks in 3 years that he's been with us. 4 sacks, that's it. But we understand what he's there for. What the heck is Mike cracking up about?
I'm gonna put on the screen in a second, but yo, look.
Oh man.
Wait, dead. Is she still in here?
Yeah, she said she replied by saying this.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Let's get back to this one. Go ahead, Gay City. Read it. You could let me know what you think.
All right. If we took a quarterback, I would take James Morgan or Jalen Hurts. Who would you guys take if we drafted one? I want all 3 of you to answer. Christ, man. Loaded question, man, because quarterback requires so much film study to be definitive. I like the arm talent of James Morgan. I like the value of where you could get James Morgan. I think Jalen Hurts, you got to draft way too early in the process.
Exactly.
If that was the options, I would take James Morgan.
Simple.
I'm about 50% sold on the fact that the Eagles might go after a quarterback. I'm not 100% there, guys. I'm about right in the middle there. I'm about 50%. It feels like when you look at the coaching staff, when you look at the fact that we don't have anyone, and like, it just depends. I mean, what do they think about Kyle Luiletti? I mean, if they like Luiletti, then all this might be for nothing. They might just go sign a vet and let Luiletti do his thing as the third or practice squad guy again. So, I mean, but yeah, James Morgan's where I would go on that.
Yeah, me too. Because like I said, anybody else, you gotta draft with a valuable pick, and now you're putting question marks around a whole lot of area. So I'm taking James Morgan because of the value. Like I said, if the Eagles would draft, I can't expect it. It gotta be late. It gotta be late.
I agree with you guys. I'm gonna go with James Morgan because if you look at a lot of draft lists, Kevin. He's not even in the draft class for quarterbacks. You can probably pick him up off the streets.
And he might.
There's no aspersions on James Morgan, but his quarterbacks is way better than him. And somebody's going to get Jalen Hurts because of him being in Oklahoma with that offense, and before that being with Alabama. So he's going to get drafted just because of his name. So I would have to go with James Morgan because I don't feel as though we got to draft him.
Yeah, I agree.
This draft is about.
So I was looking up to see his actual like measurements. James Morgan. I mean, he's a 6'3", 6'4" guy, a little underweight.
He's 6'4", 6'4", like 230.
Is he 230?
I mean, that's what they say, but you know how that go.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, let me just Eagle Clips. We talked about this earlier before you got in about the whole either trade up to get Ruggs or stay and get Jefferson. I think that is the legit two questions that got to be answered. These will be what I believe we would attempt to do, but I wouldn't go up to as high as some other people would for Ruggs. I would only go up maybe 15 at the most because I don't want to give too much up. We got too much. We got positions we got to fill. So if I'm a betting man, I'm taking Jefferson at 21. Like I said, do I like Ruggs? Yes. Would I be happy if they did it at 15 and not give up much? Yes. But if you can keep all your picks and still get a stud, I think Jefferson is your guy.
Yeah, I think that's where I would fall on the same exact lines.
And let me ask y'all this. I'm going to stay out of this because I'm kind of biased, me being a Penn State fan. Would you, if Jefferson is there, would you take Jefferson or KJ Hamler? Because we do need speed. I understand Jefferson is a good player.
I can't take KJ in the first, man. I just think I've seen models that he goes early in the second, but I've never seen any models show him going in the first.
Because me personally, I do think it's a reach at the first, but you're not going to get him at 52 or 53.
No.
He's not going to be there.
I mean, he has a little dropping problem, don't he?
Everybody says that, but not really. He dropped a couple balls. I mean, yeah.
He got a little.
They all kind of do, though. I mean, some of them have concentration drops, but
don't do that, Mike. Not to my guy. Don't do that.
He a little Nelly.
Little Nelly.
I'm trying to tell you, whatever team you go to, you ain't gonna be able to compare him to Nelly.
Nah, I'm kidding. No, he is an exact mode of Deshaun Jackson. He's like the small interior, like everything about him is Deshaun Jackson-esque.
Do you think he tracks the ball that well, though?
Yo, DJ can track the ball.
Nobody tracks the ball like DJ, man.
I think Jalen Reagor is actually the better of those two when it comes to tracking the ball. I think Hamler might be a little more dynamic in space with the football.
Right.
I think I would go Jefferson over him personally, but I'm not. Either one of those guys. I'm not. It's not like I'm gonna be mad. Like I'd be like, okay, cool. We walked away with some speed.
Yeah. the chat feels the same. Eagles clip Jefferson over Hamler. D Block said, as much as I love KJ, it's a little too early for the first. I
agree.
Hamler's too. And then this is not gonna. Yeah. I'm just kidding, but no, KJ's good.
I mean, small don't mean nothing in this league right now.
Yo, didn't he bench press a lot? He bench pressed pretty good for his size. I was surprised on that.
Yeah, he kind of strong. I'm kind of mad that he didn't run a 40, but I just wanted to see it from my personal eyes. I don't think it reached.
I think he's going to light it up at the pro day.
Who?
I think he's going to light it up at his pro day. Hamler, he's going to light it up at his pro day.
Is he going to play though? You know, he got a fractured toe.
That's tricky. Depends on when his pro day is. Yeah, depends on how long. Depends on how far out it is.
Yeah, that's why he ain't run a 40 because he had a fractured.
Well, toe. Not to be that guy, but if you got a fractured toe, you might slip.
And then we get him at 53. We get look, but there we got one on your side. Eduardo Franco. He said KJ Hamler, Jefferson is not impactful as we think, product of a system.
What system? What system?
Like the system of Joe Burrows.
Bruh, I don't think Joe Burrows is as good as they're cracking him up to be.
I think he's overrated. I really think Joe Burrows is overrated. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals, if they draft him, they're not going to have a future quarterback. I'm telling you, in 3 years, we'll probably be sitting here and we talking about this, and we probably have 20,000 people looking at what I'm saying right now. Joe Burrows is not as good as we think he is, man. That's my. I think he's kind of like the 2020 Baker Mayfield, man. I don't think he's as good as we think he is.
Rivals BT, bro. I gotta disagree with you, man. Go watch that Alabama game. He ain't look slow to me in that one.
What do you say?
He made McKinney look like a fool.
Oh yeah, I can't agree with you on that, Rivals.
The film don't say that, bro.
Exactly, and his route running is crisp. That's
Yeah.
one thing I say. He is better than Ruggs in the route running department, but Ruggs can do the comeback thing, and because of the speed, people are going to have to respect it. But Justin Jefferson is a surgeon when it comes to that. He's a better surgeon.
I think. I mean, to not to give Rivals BT a little wiggle room here. I do think there's a case to be said that he may not get as vertical as people think.
Right. Yeah.
But
he's not a speed.
But he's definitely got some speed.
Yeah, he got some, but a lot. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing that we got to understand, especially with a lot of people in these comments. Shout out to all of y'all. We seen what happened last year. We seen that it just seemed like everybody was running around like a fiend on Erie Ave with a refrigerator on their back. So we understand that it was a lot of people that was so slow. So we desperately want speed. But we got to understand, we did win a Super Bowl with Alshon Jeffrey. He wasn't the fastest.
But we used Nelson Aguilar, and he was catching balls that year.
Right. But we got to understand that it's not always just about speed. We do need speed. I say it all the time. Anybody that watch my videos, I do say.
What Jefferson did to McKinney, McKinney's still trying to find his ankles. He straight took him.
They had that on Sports Center for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it comes to this. I just want a guy. I don't speed matters, but like you said, route running, being able to catch the contested catch, doing a lot of things matters. I just want a guy who will make the defense drop back. I don't care who he is, as long as we got a guy that when we play, I don't see the safety just creeping down. I don't see them in the box. I don't see them not.
I see the comment you put up. You try to set me up, man. All right, hey, Charles Smith, I'll kick it off because I'll give these guys a chance to answer what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. I like Mims. I still think Mims you can get him in the third round. I do think he'll be there.
That will be my.
Now, Devin, how do you say his last name? Is
Duvernay?
Duvernay.
Listen, he's a slot guy. You don't touch those guys until the fifth round. I'm sorry, you don't. He's a slot guy. You just don't touch slot guys up high. You don't. You got to have more to just being a slot guy. Like, you need to be a dynamic punt returner, kick returner. Like, I just don't mess with slot guys personally unless they bring other elements other than just being fast and playing in the slot.
We did take Nelson at 13, though.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, but we're not talking.
I'm just saying what we did. I ain't saying how it worked out. I'm just saying what we did.
Yeah.
We did take
I'm just saying me personally, as a personal thing.
Right.
I don't touch slot guys. If they're solely a slot guy and there's like no dynamic ability to them in terms of like punt returning, kick returning, can you envision a guy like that playing outside? The dude only had like a 35-inch vertical. Like he doesn't have any outside ability. Like,
well, let me.
I'm not saying he won't be a really good NFL player.
Right.
I'm not drafting that dude. Too many guys, way too many guys in this draft. And I know he's got really good speed. He's got speed to him.
So
that's my personal opinion.
Why couldn't he be a punt returner at running a 4.39 at 210? He got some weight on him. You know what I mean?
But does he got the vision? That's the thing about punt returning, bro. You gotta have courage, man.
But where do you value just a punt returner? Where? Because
he's not though, yo. This dude is gonna be able to get you. I mean, I don't think he could just play in the slot. I mean, 5'11" and not being able to jump that high, I guess. But I mean, yo, did you see? He had a good Senior Bowl. Did you see him at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen some things. Yeah,
it wasn't all the slot.
I'm just not high on him. I'm not. I feel like he's one of those guys that you can definitely miss on.
But a lot of
I don't think outside of the 40 time, the rest of the athleticism lines up. You get what I mean? Like, I mean, if he came out and ran like a 4, that 4.3 speed, and then on top of the 4.3 speed, he jumped close to 40 inches in the vertical, had 11-foot broad jump, like, then I'd be like, okay, like, there's something to this kid. Like, this kid could probably play a little bit on the outside too. But when you're only elevating at like 5'11", 35 inch, like, nah, man, then quarter's gonna have a field day picking you off.
Point blank, period. Let me tell y'all this real fast, okay?
So what is Ruggs jump?
42 inches. Or no, Ruggs. Let me see.
I think I don't know. I'll check it out. But while I'm checking it out, I just want everybody to understand. Carson Wentz needs somebody to grow with at the wide receiver position. If you look at all around the league, Aaron Rodgers, you know who he got? He got Adams.
Sean.
Watson, he got Hopkins. You got all these dudes that have a number one wide receiver. Carson really doesn't have that. Even in 2017, he had Alshon, and you seen what he did. Carson Wentz needs a number one wide receiver, man. This is why we're talking about this, getting a wide receiver at the with the number one draft pick, because you have to find a wide receiver for Carson, man.
He jumped 42 inches. Ruggs did.
Yeah. I seen that. Shine said that. But here's another thing. Charles Smith is also saying as our second receiver. So now that he put him in the mix of Mims, and I like Mims way better, don't get me wrong. But if he's putting them in with Mims, he's probably talking 3rd round, and you say 5th round. But listen, again, I'm not just saying for getting Duvernay, because I'm a dude who likes Mims I like Mims, I like Claypool. But again, I do think this dude Duvernay is gonna go before 5th to somebody else.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that's where he'll be drafted. I'm saying that's where I would personally value him, guys. But if you talk about a guy like, but just for comparison, guys, even Mims, who hit that 4.3 speed, still jumped 38.5 inches in the vertical. And he's got size over him. Like, yeah, I just think he's like, you know what I'm saying? When you compare him to other receivers, he's very limited. Now, look, there are other guys. I was the old Denver Broncos receiver that went to the 49ers. Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders is guy, he's an inside guy. He can play a little bit on the outside, but he's primarily a slot guy that's got vertical speed in the slot. I mean, he can fit that kind of mold. You know what I mean? He could be an Emmanuel Sanders type. But I just think, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you get to guys like that, I get cautious. I become very, very cautious there, personally.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a guy who's going to get receptions. He had 106 receptions in college, so he's not a guy who's only going to catch you 60 balls via he plays in the slot. Slot guys normally catch a lot of balls.
Yeah, but that was his last year. The year before that, he had 41, and the year before that, he had 9. So he probably just had an outbreak year. That happens to a lot of receivers, especially when it's time for them to hit the draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm not too high praised about this dude, but if you can get him in the 4th round or move up and get him in
got like 3 picks there,
or move back and get him in the 5th round, I'm cool with that. But I'm not getting him no higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I have with him is, like, you look at a guy like Rieger, similar height, dude jumps out. You know what I'm saying? He jumps out of the roof. When you put on the film, Rieger's running away from the defense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he tracks the ball really well. Like, then when you look at Duvernay, like, he's fast. He's definitely, his speed shows up on film. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, but Rieger, we're talking about Rieger being a 2nd and this guy being a 4th. That's a big difference too.
It is. Right. It is. I think if Rieger wasn't jumping 42 inches and had that ability to go back shoulder and go make the play, I don't think Rieger's value is anywhere near the 2nd round. I think that vertical lined up with the film and his ability to go back shoulder gives him that value, Rieger. Yeah. I don't think Rieger is a 1st round value, and some people are throwing him out there as that. I don't think he's 1st round. But
I think Rieger is solid, and I think Rieger is solid. I think he's good in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that Duvernay is better than him. I'm just saying when Charles Smith said that, he was talking about our second receiver, and I think he was more to the third or fourth-ish round. Like I said, Mims stock rised, but I still think there's a chance you get him in the third. And I like Mims. I like his speed and his height. He got it.
I like Mims a lot too. They're like, man, Claypool, Mims. There's so many guys. I'm high on Claypool, man. Like, it's frustrating because when you turn on the film for Claypool, the quarterback play sucked. So hard to judge him. So hard to judge what this kid is. He could be a complete bust because you can't evaluate him fairly.
Mm-hmm.
But a dude that's 230 pounds, 6'4", and runs a 4.3, and can go up and go get the football like that. Hey, I'm taking a shot on him.
Yeah, I'm
gonna take a shot.
I agree 100%, especially when you know that the last person to run sub 4.5 at plus 6'4" was a dude named Megatron. Like, when you know that just still resonates in your brain.
Yeah, but Megatron had them hands. I don't know how good this dude hands is. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to put him in that category just yet. But I wanted one of y'all to pull up Bird Gang 144. He said, how do you guys react if we draft a lineman or old lineman in the first round?
Pissed.
Even a defensive lineman?
D lineman I'm okay with if we trade back. O lineman, man, I'll be madder than hell. What, so he can sit the bench again?
Can we get into that real fast?
Yeah, let's get into
go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to say Alshon, I agree. He does fumble the ball a lot. Like I said, when I made that video the other day, again, I wanted to clarify. I said it in the video. These are not guys I said the Eagles should target. These are guys that I didn't think that Duvernay even ran a 4.3. So I was surprised to see him even getting a 4.3. And I said that after I showed his highlight in my thing. I talked about his production in college, but I also said I was surprised he ran a 4.3. I thought he was a 4.4 guy. But go ahead.
Real quick, guys, let me just shout out family watching in the living room. Appreciate y'all. Jaden, how you doing, hon? It's my niece.
Okay, shout out to the niece. Shout out to the family.
Where?
They watching in the living room.
Hey,
they're watching?
Yeah. They're on the TV in the living room watching.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, man, that's what it's about. Family matters, like Steve Urkel.
Yeah, you already know.
Hey, listen, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I'm so confused about Andre Dillard. You trade up to get him, right? We all thought, when they made this move, meaning the Philadelphia organization, when they made this move, we thought, okay, look at tape on this dude, solid. We got our left tackle for 2020, right? Now you want to bring back Jason Peters. Is it because Dillard's not ready, or is it because Peters got a chokehold on the front office? Because me personally, I don't feel as though this is a Peterson or even a Howie Laurie. I think this is a owner situation. I think this is a Jeff Lurie situation.
Jeff
Lurie came down, made the decision. Mm-hmm. We're bringing back Jason Peters because he's like a son to him. A son. I don't understand this. I don't know if Dillard is not ready, because if he's not, that is a problem. Because you draft him number 1 overall, but then you're going to bring back Peters. I don't understand that, man.
I still think that in the end, it's going to be a tough decision. I know that the momentum is going towards Peters being back. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to happen. I can't see how you justify it.
They already said he's coming back.
They say a lot of stuff, though, man.
Yeah, look, this is my take on JP. When the season ended, I did 3 guys I want to see off the team, and it was not it's nothing against them. Listen, Jason Peters is a Hall of Famer. I love him to death as an Eagle. Much love. But let's talk about this. He's 38 years old.
Right.
38. He missed 4 games last season. He's been missing games sparingly. So now you're putting your first round guy to come in, play a couple games, get out. And when Andre Dillard played on the left side, and they didn't force him to play on the right side because, it's like right in different hands accordingly to him. Anyways, he played good on the left side. With that being said, what kind of contract could you get a 38-year-old guy? Like, you would only be able to really sign him for a year, right? You can't sign him for 2 years. You can't have a left tackle playing against a 20-year-old defensive end at 40 to 22 years old, Chase Young coming off the edge. He got to block him at 40. You can't have that. So you can only give him 1 year. Now, will he take a team friendly deal? Okay, the Eagles. I just want to play 1 more year. The Eagles, blah blah. He takes a team friendly deal, maybe since the bench in case of injury comes.
If I was Dillard, I'm gonna be real with you. You sign Jason Peters back, I'm in your office Monday saying trade me right now.
And that's crazy because it has been a lot. It has been trade talk. It has really been trade talk. I've been listening to the radio, trade talk about Andre Dillard, but I don't think the organization would do that because then you're admitting that you failed on your first.
I don't think Dillard gonna give him a choice. I don't think they're gonna have a choice.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, I don't know if they saying that he don't got the attitude. About the crime situation. But back on Jason Peters real fast. The last time we seen him in the Eagles uniform, he got abused. In that Seahawks game, he got abused. I've been asking. I've been commenting. I've been leaving stuff in my video. Calling out Gate City to put out a breakdown on Jason Peters, how bad he played in that Seahawks game. This dude was horrible.
He was too slow off the ball.
He was getting McClown terrorized, man. Like, and if you leave, if that's your last imprint that you leave, and then they talking about bringing him back, I don't understand it. Like you said, Philly Mike, he missed 4 games. He's in, he's out. He averages he averages a season 16 false starts a game. And you want to bring this guy back? I just don't understand it, man.
Well, to quote Gate City's favorite thing, Pro Football Focus.
Hey, Pro Football Focus, man.
But they got him ranked as a good left tackle. And listen, I mean, besides a false start every once in a while, and yes, that Seattle game was bad.
Wow, once a game.
That's what I meant to say.
But it ain't once in a while, Mike.
No, I meant to say once a game. But But at the end of the day, I just can't fathom bringing back a guy for a year. What will you pay a guy, and why would you sit Dillard? Listen, by the time we get to see Dillard, we're going to have to pay him top. Either let him go because listen, we drafted him when?
That's last year.
Last year.
This is going to be his 3rd year. No,
second year. We drafted him like
but he a first,
21, 22 last year. Something like that. 21st, 22nd pick.
But you got to understand, first rounder. So when you're a first rounder, you get the 4th year option. It's on you. It's not on the club. It's on you. You get the 4th year option because you're a first round draft pick. So he could play next year. Not the year coming up, but he can play next year, and then the year after that, he can opt out.
Yeah. Well, let's just put it this way. At the end of the day, I think Dillard's ready to play left tackle. He's good. He handled Khalil Mack the day game he had to play on the left side when Khalil Mack lined up there because Khalil Mack goes back and forth. Listen, Jason Peters, if he could take a backup role, maybe. That's the only way I would entertain that because, again, you need that. We might lose Veloti. We might lose Vaitai. So if we end up losing Vaitai, we got that Matt Pryor dude who can come in and play if injuries happen. But our offensive line hasn't been healthy. Brandon Brooks missed time. Lane Johnson missed time. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a trend.
We do need another tackle, but not a 38-year-old one.
Me personally, if you move him inside, I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that. It's a lot of chatter going on saying that Malata is not the guy that we thought he was going to be.
He want to go back and play rugby.
You said what?
He want to go back and play rugby. He don't know how to play football.
Yeah, it seemed like that. Even though in the preseason we seen how he looked good, I made a video about him and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't think he's not him. So you really do have to find tackles. Even we're talking about the skill position, but we know how this football team is based, and we know how this football team looks at how they're developing teams, meaning inside out. So the first thing that they're going to do is make sure that they have D linemen and make sure that they have also offensive linemen. So whoever made that, I think it was Eagles 144. Whoever made that comment, they're absolutely right, because I wouldn't be surprised. I would hate it if they got somebody in the first round at one of them positions, but we do have to understand what kind of team this is. What's up, dude?
Look, Howie said it, man. They've gotten too close with some of these players. This is the golden case right here. Look, feelings got to be hurt. JP should retire an Eagle, give him a one-day contract, bro. His ass is too old to still play. Got to go. He doesn't want to play inside. That was already asked of him, and he didn't want to do it. Man, I like the guy. The dude would probably make a hell of an offensive line coach, but I think it's a mistake. I think it's a big, big mistake, man, because you're going to piss off the dude that's supposed to play left tackle for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
Bottom line, if you didn't have a first round future left tackle for the next decade, like you said, if you don't have that, then yeah, you can keep riding this guy as long as possible. If your backup left tackle was a guy that you've been on the team for 4 years, he was drafted in the 5th round and he's just not that ready or not good, it's understandable. Then keep him going. You just can't pay a guy when you have a rookie who's on his. You just got to play him if he's that dude. If he's not that dude, then keep Peters and get rid of him or do something that. But like you said, it's Andre Dillard time. I love Peters. I do think, listen, he can, if he went somewhere else, he could play left tackle at a B and around a B. He'll give you a game where he's a C, gets B. He'll give you a game where he's an A. He can play in this league still. But because of what we have behind him, we have to know. What if Dillard's not that good? And then by the time he starts playing, you only get to see 1 year, he gets hurt or something. And now you're going into his option where it's like, do we know? Is he our left guard? I mean, our left tackle for the future? Do we even know? We don't know.
We don't. We really don't know. I mean, he looked okay in pass protection to me. He struggled a couple of times where I saw he really got beat off the line, but you don't know. You really don't know.
But a lot of that was rookie moves. We understood that. Like when he got beat, when he got beat and a dude put a double move on him or slapped his arms around or did the nunchuck thing, we understand that. But you have to make sure that this guy is the guy. And I agree with what both of you were saying, man.
Anyone got a timer? That's the problem. I ain't got a timer. Y'all got a timer? I could probably use my phone now.
All right, we good.
Shout out to Kobe, man. Shout out to not just Kobe, his daughter, and the rest of the 7 that lost their lives, man. That was real tragic. Master P. Dot, man, that's a good comment. That's probably the best comment we had all day. Eagles fan to the death. You see, I don't know if y'all seen the video when we won the Super Bowl. See, always had the jersey on. Real good dude from what I hear. I don't know him like that. I didn't know him like that, should I say. I seen him play one time at Lower Maryland. Cooked my team for about 55 points. Real good dude, man. Good comment, man. Rest in peace to all them. Rest in peace to the 9 that lost their lives in that helicopter.
Yeah, I agree. But look, at the end of the day, we about to touch a couple more comments, and then I'm not Gate City. I can't go the whole 3 hours. I'm about to get out of.
I gotta jump off too, man. I gotta jump off here.
Told me both. It's 10 o'clock. I ain't even know that.
They say 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kid's at?
Who said that?
No, that was like that news thing. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
But anyways, yeah. So if we get some more comments real quick, we touch some things, and then we about to be out.
Hey, everybody, man, before we get off of here, man, make sure that y'all subscribe to my boy, Philly Mike. Y'all subscribe to Gate City, man. These dudes right here, man, good dudes, man. If y'all not already subscribed, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. This is the time in the video right now where we going to go over your comments and we going to react to them before we get up out of here, man. Shout out to everybody, man. I don't call y'all subscribers. I call y'all family. If you subscribe to my page, man, you part of the Fresh family, man. So bring them comments in.
Two things real quick. One, let's read this comment. William Bryan and Ryan Blaney honor Kobe with their paint schemes at the Auto Club 400. That's cool. And I thought you were going to bed because you got
lacrosse.
Yeah. He's
Wait,
like,
how old is you, sexy vegan?
But yeah, so yeah, we plan on doing this. We try to do it as much as possible. It's a lot easier on the weekend. You know, we all got stuff that got to go on throughout the week. It's a little rough during the week, but we definitely gonna do this more. It was good that we were able to get it on 2 pages today. Maybe next time we'll do it on Philly Fresh's page. Maybe we'll be able to get all 3 pages. Depending on what we do with our StreamYard accounts and whatnot. Right now, we're only able to get it on 2, but you never know. Future brings some stuff up. But like I said, it was good with all you guys. And like I said, if you are not subscribed to any of these channels, if you're on my page, you're on Gate Cities, you're on Philly Freshes, and you don't know the other 2, regardless of who it is, like I said, just go check it out. If you like it, click it. If you don't, well, then you catch us on these lives. That's about it.
Guys, if you go down to the drop screen just above the comment section on my on the video, you'll see I linked their channels there, guys. All right, we want to take on one more, guys. One more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's talk about the O-line. I saw a couple questions. I'm going to combine them. Backup tackle, and then center and guard. Drafting somebody. Tackle, guard, center. Are we in this draft looking?
Me personally, no.
He said nah.
No. I mean,
yeah.
If you can find somebody in like the 7th, the 5th, 6th, 7th round, all right, cool. But I feel as though we're kind of stable right there. Do we need somebody for the future year? But I feel as though at that position, I think Stoutland is the best coach in the game at the offensive line. So he can find somebody off the streets or in the 7th, 6th, or 5th round and groom them into being a good offensive lineman, man. So me personally, that's not what I'm worried about right now. I'm worried about the skill positions.
I mean, I can see we got 3 4th rounds, and I don't know. There's that guy. What's his name? Matt starts with an H. His last name I don't know. I lost it. But anyways, who's the dude from Temple? The lineman from Temple.
Shit. Hang on.
Come on, you know this Gate City.
Season ended a while ago. Hang on.
It's cool. It's cool. Anyways, I think we could go for a center guard, maybe in the 4th, because assuming that Jason Kelce really is going to be leaving soon. But like, that depends if somebody would drop there that's good and you use one of your 3 4th round picks. But I think Kelce's coming back, of course, next year, and just keep talking him into staying.
Do you think he will though? I mean, how many years do you think he's honestly got left in him?
No, probably 1 more. That's probably it. That's why I would look into that 4th round. If I like the dude from Temple, but I think he should be around the 3rd-ish, late 3rd, early 4th. Do I want to use a third? Not really, because I think we do need to get some. I think we need to look at safety, linebacker, corner, receiver, of course, number one.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I definitely think you could see. I think you personally could see someone get drafted. I mean, what round it would be, I think that's where you get into, probably the questions of it all.
Trying the fourth.
I would look in the fourth round. I think that's a very big potential for the fourth round to be a draft pick. I'm trying to find this out for you. Mike, give me a second. I'm searching.
Master P. Dot said Matt Hennessy. I don't think it's Hennessy, but I know it starts with an H, and it kind of reminded me of Hennessy. It might be Hennessy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking. He's pretty far down on the list, bro. Hang on. Damn, dude, he's like way down there, man.
Wait, far down, like he doesn't start?
No, it's not that he doesn't start. It's not that. Hold up, man. I'm about to look this up. I'm gonna look at this a different way.
Anyways, like I said, I'm trying to think of a fourth round guy, man. I'm not trying to think of the top guy in the thing. You're like, he's like a sixth round guy.
Let's see.
I guess it is Hennessy. That's all the movie.
Well, I mean, hang on. Let me see.
Just type in Matt Hennessy from Denver. You can tell I'm tired, man. I gotta go to sleep, bro. I was up early and I was jumping around at free fall because my 4-year-old wanted me to jump with him. So we just jumped.
Oh, no wonder, bro. I'm tripping. Not even on Temple. I was on Penn State.
All right, I'm out. See you guys.
Yeah. Matt Hennessy was he was a redshirt junior, so I guess that would make sense.
That's what I was trying to say. If we can get him in the fourth round, I'll be happy.
But wasn't he projected to play center in the NFL?
That's what we need for Jason Kelce.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know if we were talking guard, but yeah, I mean, he's a guard center kind of.
Really, guard and center should be able to rotate, especially a center going to guard.
I mean, we need something. I would say look for the fourth round with those 3 picks. I would say kind of keep an eye there.
And plus, Hennessy and Philly, we can always use that.
I hate y'all. I'm tired.
I'm out of here, man.
Like I said, at the end of the day, if you're in here, you're not sub to one of you otherwise, blah, 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 go check it out. Until next time, guys, love talking to you guys. I love working with Philly Fresh and Gate City. Like I said, we all came up around the same time. When I subbed to Gate City and Gate City subbed to me, I think I was around? Like maybe a couple hundred. That's it.
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
It was early on, man. My videos were looking real suspect early on, man. But anyways, it's all
everybody's word at the beginning, man.
Yeah. Until next time, go ahead, say y'all MPs because I'm done.
Hey, appreciate y'all tuning in and watching, guys. We're really grateful, man. We really enjoyed talking to you guys. You guys are an awesome community. You guys are, man. Like, y'all are always on here on these lives. Y'all always are commenting. You know all 3 of us pretty well at this point. Man, we appreciate y'all.
Hey, for everybody that's still on here, man, we know it's late. We appreciate for everybody that's watching. Like you said, shout out to y'all, man. Without no y'all, there's no us, man. We do this because we love it. I talk to these guys on a regular basis, and I know they love talking to y'all guys, man, and breaking stuff down. But y'all know what it is. Stay Philly, stay fresh, y'all. All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night, y'all, man. Whew.